Today on BTF, the mega episode, again. Beyond the left fist, week 2. Beyond the right fist, week 3. And controversy, the arguments about the grand final, the money match between SFL US and SFL Japan champions. Welcome back to Beyond the Fist, the Street Fighter League livecast talk show presented by Toga TV. I am your host, togashiazrael. This is your panel for Season 2, Mortsy and SplicedHelix. What is up, guys?
Yo. Hello!
So apparently everything is working, and hopefully it stays that way for the next-ish 2 hours. We will see. Video footage for Street Fighter League Pro US is used with permission from Capcom. Follow the Capcom Pro Tour and Street Fighter League on Twitch at twitch.tv/CapcomFighters, on YouTube at youtube.com/CapcomFightersTV, and on Facebook Live at facebook.com/CapcomFighters. Lots to discuss, not a lot of time. We're going to get right into it. First up, SFL Pro US Season 2, Week 2, Match Day 1. Take a look at this.
This is not looking good right now. I'm pretty sure it's one of them. Still checking.
Oh, that could have been a dangerous buffer there.
Back roundhouse.
Okay,
Good
okay.
confirm. Good confirm. Gonna push to the corner with this. Takes the
double
OP.
dash.
Yep. And just
far
right at
out.
the tail end of that range. Oh. Gets the crush jump
Side
out.
switch?
Yep.
No buttons pressed from Shine. Great discipline. Huge life lead to work with, but Punk still dwindling down that V trigger.
Ooh, I was gonna say you want to take those throws. It's better that than the stun. But look at the damage output. We already talked about it. Tech both in the corner.
Out of there.
Shine activates off the block, staying light kick. Forcing it. You can see Punk trying to walk out of that corner.
Oh, and the delayed ever so slight. Man, is confirmed to Crispy. Now, I like Chun-Li, the way she fights this battle, just because she's able to control the space from further out. But G, great buffer normals from the lights.
We saw how
Does have
quick that
decent range
almost
and a
turned
fireball.
around.
Yeah.
We saw how quick that almost turned around with that V trigger act.
Could have gone either way still. Knuckle Dew still had one more mix-up away and full critical art. Ooh, big conversion from Broly.
Good pressure. Tries to bait something out just there. Walks back. Knuckle Dew doesn't take the bait. He'd rather be close to that corner and deal with the. Oh, wow. Knuckle Dew in trouble right now. 60%
Oh,
life score
stop
just
it.
stuffed with an actual bait.
My God. Let's go with the conversion. That's mad hard to do in
That
general.
is super hard to do, and he's doing it with his face. Oh.
Okay. Okay, so now one more mix-up away for Knuckle Dew before the trigger runs out. However, BrolyLex has a ton of life, and he spans it with the anti-air. That bar,
Blocks
so
it low.
pivotal.
That's the end of the trigger. This is great position for BrolyLex to be in. Gets through the fireball, but he doesn't get to hit anything. He's gonna do it for him. Tries to go for the crouching medium stand start with the fierce. Oh,
the
at the
back
anti.
round.
Why did you see the angle that hit at?
Yeah, I was there. I was
Yeah,
watching.
I was there.
I was watching it. Have you seen Chun-Li's normals?
Look, man, it's Chun-Li. We're not talking about Chun-Li. No, but like
You're
that
playing
G-jump
favorites.
roundhouse is actually pretty good.
It's pretty good. I totally agree. Just like a good amount of those normals, especially that special normal right there, the splash. Ugh.
And it's that move, the splash is such a good change of pace, especially from a character like G, where you're looking at controlling space, like throwing fireballs at this angle. For him to get that cross-up option in some of these situations is just magnificent. Big jump in.
You see what I'm saying? That roundhouse, you spell it out earlier, how if you press it early, it's going to be reducing that jump height significantly.
Defense.
Oh!
Oh. Goes for the cross-up. There's the V reversal.
Put himself into the corner. V-trigger
I
no
love-
longer a threat.
Look at the great life building up there. BrolyLex has a chance to get a nice chunk of damage if he can ult for the neutral jump. You have to be careful.
Yeah, the
But
fourth-
that worked out in his favor. That worked out in his favor. Cross up again, tries to go for the V reversal. He reads it with the throw. Knuckle Dew.
That could have been critical art. Uh-oh. Command grab,
Oh, no,
critical
it's done
art.
deal.
Yes,
That is
sir.
done deal. And
That-
that will be that. Knuckle Dew takes.
Good. got the counter hit, immediately went into low forward. That's not something you could normally do.
That was
with
a really
Karen.
quick round. 14-second round or something.
That's very Karen-like. Okay, just went through it. Big punish. Yeah, and the corner carry. Smart decision there from Rob TV. Also the Fierce.
Yeah. He's just fishing right now. Tries to go for that stand medium kick punish. Didn't work this time. Gets a crush counter on the back end. Not able to make any damage coming from it. Just a little bit of V-trigger, 2 meter left. But a lot of life on the side of Rob TV. Takes the grab. There's another V reversal.
Ooh. Checking in. With the Fierce, he just wants that space back. He doesn't want to be smothered in the corner. Yes, sir. Rob TV was well aware of that sweep with that V-trigger active, and that's, you know, off of the shoulder, that's gonna be all of it.
I like how you sounded like you started talking to other people. You're just like, you know what? I think if I ask that guy over there, he's gonna tell me that he's like overhead. Ugh.
Looks down at your lifeless body. I am the world president. This character's sick.
Can't fight this character.
I can't either. But he's cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
Oh, did you like that? Okay, yeah, full conversion. He's gonna get the corner carry off this. Roundhouse Mujin. Dash up, check with the low forward.
And this is where he starts doing those stand light kicks. Follows up with a stand jab, still gets to confirm in a lot of situations. You can see Punk hesitating now. We saw a lot of that in those first 2 games. Look at him, just priming that stand light kick so he can buffer in DP to get the knockdown potentially. V reversal, he wants the ground back. Just one dash from Punk, and like I said, that standing light kick.
Yeah, trying to check Punk just in case. Oh, counter conversion as well.
Oh, this conversion.
He's spending all of it. Command grab. Oh no, he baited it.
And Rob TV stood up for Knuckle Dude. He stood up for Knuckle Dude. The first team battle victory of Season 2.
All right, first match of the day was a rematch of the Season 1 Grand Final. Punk's defending champion Team Inferno going up against Knuckle Dude's runner-up Team Gale. Let's start with discussing the first match between Punk and Shine. Having seen his jury from Season 1 of SFL, Shine opted to go with Colleen this time around, preparing for the ban of Ibuki once again. In Season 1, though Jury did have some flashes of brilliance, Shine overall was essentially a non-factor in his team's success from a gameplay standpoint. Against Punk, we didn't see too much from the Colleen either. Will this new secondary play more of a factor than Jury did for Team Gale moving forward in Season 2, SplicedHelix?
I don't know, I'm just sad. I'm sad. My team got stomped on. I'm sad. I'll tell you what, though. I don't know. I don't have any idea. I don't know what was going on. Nobody looked like they did last season. It looked like they chose to not play in the preseason games and just jump right into week 1. As far as secondaries go, I don't know. I think the secondaries are all semi-decent, but you know, it's a thing. You gotta prepare for that. You know how this is laid out. This is the second season. Both these teams were there for Season 1, so it's nothing new. It just seems like there wasn't as much preparation as there should have been.
Mortsy, how do you feel about Shine's new secondary?
I like it a lot. One, because it's a better character. 2, the matchups that it might cover are a lot better. Jury's advantageous matchups are pretty, as far as I'm aware, they're not like, oh yeah, I can use this. Like, Jury isn't a character you go, oh yeah, I want to pull this character out for this matchup. You know, that doesn't really happen. So Aline is one of those characters where even if the matchup isn't great, it's still
She's got that comeback factor with V-Trigger 2 that's so much better. The other thing it was fine. He's going against Punk. It's still going to be rough. But his use, you can kind of tell he was going through the block strings like, this is the block string I remember. I can hit and then he hit the buttons, and then that was it. There wasn't a lot of like, what is my purpose for hitting these buttons? Am I trying to stagger them? He just went through the block string, and that was it every time. And so there was no real danger there. Yeah, it didn't. Even though obviously Colleen is super, super scary, he just went through his block strings, and that was it. So I still like it way more than the jury, because there's just a precedent of danger on Colleen. But I obviously like it then more than a lot of the secondary birdies, although JB's did look much better already, which is nice. But it's still obviously not going to be on the same level as some of the other secondaries that we've seen. Do you call NuckleDu G a secondary at this point?
That's what I'm trying to figure out as well, because as we progress later, we'll talk about the following week, obviously on this double episode. G looked really good on the side of NuckleDu.
Yeah, he seems to be taking the Punk route of, I can play this person, this person, and this person at the same level.
Yeah.
Well, he's this isn't the first time either that he's beaten Punk with G in this matchup specifically. He played Toryukin, I believe. Grand finals was NuckleDu Punk, and I think Du washed him a little bit. It might have been actually, it might have been tight, but Du did win Toryukin against Punk. So.
All right, yeah. So we'll talk a little bit. Next topic actually is going to be a little bit about game plan, because we talked about Gale and their game plan from the previous season and how they handed Inferno their first loss. A pair of defeats from the Gale game plan. Gale went after JB's Rashid once again, this time around, and positioned NuckleDu in the middle position to maximize the use of his G. Game plan paid off, even though it didn't look like it would at first, with Broly Legs, as you saw earlier, with the first game over the G. Broly Legs gave NuckleDu a fight in a 2-1 defeat, and Rob TV ended up with a bad matchup against the targeted JB, but still managed to come out on top. Who stood out more for you guys? Broly Legs' play that almost took down NuckleDu, or JB's do an improved secondary birdie?
I was excited. When Broly took that game off of Du, I sat up in my seat, and I was rooting for that, and it looked so good, and then it didn't. But at the beginning, that was the most hype thing for me out of that match. Was here's NuckleDu's almost main, and here comes Broly. He's gonna be a factor this season. He's gonna start taking people out. I still think he will. It's just one of those mid-season ramp ups.
No, that's 100% fair. It feels like, though, when we go through it, that in terms of, speaking of mid-season ramp-ups, already in mid-season form, it seems like that's where Team Gale is right now compared to the rest of the teams, at least so far. Mortsy, your thoughts on the birdie or on Broly Legs?
I thought Broly Legs did great. That was really nice. It was refreshing, almost, is a good way to put it. I don't know what Chun can do against cross-ups. Holy shit. That's actually the thing that took me it's actually a trend throughout NuckleDu's game. I'm tangenting here, but he forces cross-ups so much. He doesn't, his entire game is based around getting within range to be able to jump and cross up on these weak. Even against Punk, you could see he would get in the range and then jump and splash. When he plays Cammy, it's a similar thing where he does the dive kick cross up mix up. And that's that dude loves jump forward. Holy moly. He abuses it, and then it's a mix up when he comes down. So it's, especially when you have a character as threatening as on a blocked mix up, like a cross up as G, where you have to guess between taking a substantial amount of life from the command grab. So I did really like Broly Leg, but damn, did he ever get jumped on. That was It was Do repping the green playing Leapfrog. It was absurd. But yeah, Brawler Legs played a lot better. I really like that bird kick anti-air. That was really, really nice. But yeah, other than that, just playing solid. And it's exciting that he doesn't just get bowled over, because it means that Inferno will be more of a team. No, it's funny because I like what Helix said, where none of Inferno's players look like they did last season, and it's true, except Broly Legs is the one who's outperforming, while the other two are underperforming. Though, of course, JB is on a secondary again. I do find it very interesting that the bans are all targeted to JB. So we'll see if that trend continues. Especially, though, again, consider that these teams will be banning most likely a Punk character next season, in the next half. So that's a lot of things. We're actually going to get to that eventually. Next, some reasoning behind some of the bans next for the next episode, because that some of the bans were like, eh.
Yeah, no, that is
It kind of makes sense in context of the whole season.
Yeah, definitely. So the marquee matchup, of course, for this one, the team captain squaring off Knuckle Dew and his G taking on Punk and his Karen, and Punk dominated the first game, no joke. And then Knuckle Dew adjusted, buffered all the buttons, did all the right things. How impressed were you with the overall game plan and play of Team Gale? And more importantly, how detrimental was this salty run-back loss for Team Inferno? SplicedHelix.
I don't want to talk about it. No,
You don't get a choice.
I know, right? No, Gale came out to play. They brought what they needed to bring. You know, we were second place last season. We're going to show you why we're not going to be second place this season. That's basically what they were. They brought that message and they backed it up with gameplay. They planned what they wanted to do and they executed it, and it came out exactly the way they wanted to. I think Knuckle Dew's G being a little bit better than it was last season is a good demonstration of the level of preparedness that they came with for season 2, because it really feels like they just want to go in and steamroll it and win the whole thing just outright.
Mortsy, Team Gale, of course, was your pick last season. Feeling confident in how they're doing so far this time around?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how the CPT has been going for each of the individuals on both teams, because obviously that's going to have a big influence on how we're doing, because there's a huge gap between when SFL was last time and when SFL this time. So obviously Gale, like, the players are in form. There are different dynamics as well, where you're like, okay, the bans letting people through. Obviously, the bans this time were actually fairly static compared to some of the other matchups. Obviously, they're going to be different, but the ban strategies changed a lot for the other teams, but not so much. These ones are pretty much the same. I don't know if by the end of the season they ended up banning Rashid or if they banned Karen. I seem to recall a lot of Karen bans as opposed to... but obviously, they didn't care. And that might be the difference maker, is that Dew just felt confident with the G, knowing he could take down Punk, Karen, and they're just like, we can keep it. Let's get rid of the other factor. I can take down G. And that's or I can take down Punk. I can take down Karen. And that's a huge confidence factor when you're like, we can just like get rid of one of their players and we're comfy, we're fine. So it's a huge difference, I think, between last time, where they didn't really have a good answer outside of banning for Punk Karen, whereas this time it's going to be great. I imagine we're going to see a G ban next in the rematch here. But in terms of the Inferno record, I think they literally look like they're throwing. And I'm going to echo this statement for the second one. For the second episode, but they're almost caught up to the number of losses they had last,
right?
Which is like, what is happening? If they take another loss, all they're trying to do is they're gonna throw the first 3 and then they're gonna win 7 straight. But
that's definitely a possibility.
We'll see, because Gale's now that Gale has such a deep the G is there. The Colleen is now a problem. Obviously, Rob's got Karen. I don't know the last time he's played Guile. The Nakali, should he choose to bring it out?
We can't hear you, SplicedHelix.
You need to hit the button.
I'm angry about not seeing Guile.
Yeah.
We've seen it what, one time ever.
Yeah, but it was a key part when we did see it, frankly.
But it was only once. There needs to be more. There needs to be more.
Yeah, how do you think I feel?
I don't wait.
We also get to talk about how I feel the next part. Yeah.
We saw Nash how many times last season?
Twice.
That's true.
That's already you guys are flying. Come on. But yeah, I think Gale's looking great. Obviously, their roster super intimidating, super deep. Both times you ban them, they're not going to be great. They're like a well-constructed team this time around. The fact that Rob TV slipped to the end, dude, is still wild.
And he's still playing like he's got that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he's playing fantastically.
He's also confident as hell. The Rob TV stickers at the end of that was bloody freaking brilliant. So good on the part. I love the confidence on Rob. The behind the scenes stuff where they showed some of the confident stuff that he was doing, like challenging Punk to a foot race where Punk is wearing shoes and he's in his socks. That is ridiculous.
It's easier to run without shoes a lot of times. That's why sprinter shoes, they're very, very light. Although sprinter shoes have spikes. So yeah, but nonetheless.
But some of the behind the scenes stuff, you guys haven't taken a look. You can see it on the Street Fighter League website, of course, streetfighterleague.com. Coming up next, let's talk about the second match of Week 2, which features a new captain for Team Frost, a new team in Team Storm, and a debut of a new character on SFL. But as much of things has changed, some things just simply stay the same. Here are your highlights for Team Frost versus Team Storm.
R.I.P. Inferno.
Able to go into V-skill and then the V-trigger immediately afterwards, extending the combo. It's going to lead to a lot of damage, so good call there from 801 Strider. Not having to expend any of the meter. Ooh, big punish. Gun smoke. Yes, sir.
Text to throw. Still in a bad position in this corner, though.
Oh, check. Oh, I like that.
Okay. Bad position. Another throw. That's going to be the stun and full
343 incoming. Oh, I lied to each and every one of you. It's still going to be enough. Try again, Chief. Don't forget, guys like you all over the world. Ooh, okay.
Man.
Just throwing out the crouch fumes.
Tommy two-steps. His Urian is really, really good. EX. And once again, back to this corner. And now you see, Urian just using that stand fierce just to try to get him to walk into it, and it worked out. Full charge ready.
This is a tough situation right now for Dual Kevin. Tommy two-step has just been all over it, sitting at match point as well, and full critical art. Counter hit as well, my man. Going in.
Still
Tommy
alive,
two-step.
Though. And trigger. Text to throw in the corner. Still has a little bit left. Gets the knockdown. Didn't have to spend any meter. He has 2 bars of EX and working on a CA, but that's going to be...
Alright. Got the banana dude.
Set point here for Samurai. Is this the beginning or the trade? Knock
benefiting
the bananas off
way
her head.
more, by the way. That damage output was crazy off the drop kick.
Knock the bananas off her head.
Ooh.
Quick backdash. Mojo not ready for it.
Got the banana split ends. I see you.
That was pretty good.
I know a lot about hair, Steve. Yes, sir. The parry. He was on it.
And ice cream. Nice Tatsu.
Okay.
Long distance gets a standing medium punch to confirm into the EX.
Still anyone's game. Samurai still with the resources there on Critical Art and the corner carry damage. Mojo does have V-Trigger locked and loaded.
It's surprising to me how comfortable Samurai is fighting out of the corner to confirm this is not death, but it's going to be pretty close. Situation looking a lot better for Samurai.
One more touch as well. Samurai looking to seal it against Mojo. He's going to play the life lead game and back away. He doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks. The standoff.
But he has full trigger, and this is Akuma we're talking about. This guy's weak. He's tissue paper. 35 seconds left on the clock. If he can get it confirmed into trigger, this whole round could turn around. He has 2 bars of EX. Oh, a tech. I looked away for a second. The teleport to get out. Once again, the chase. The jab to stop the drop. Sacrifice.
Absolutely worth. Dang, that's a lot of damage.
That was a lot of damage, but she spent every resource. That was a legit comeback.
That's how they do it in Metro City, man.
In Metro City.
Oh, yeah, the tail end of that, that's unfortunate.
The DP this time to read the jump. Samurai stepped into that one. He meant it.
Oh, with the pivot for more power?
Yeah, man. When I see it freeze on the uppercut hit, I'm like, oh yeah, he stepped into it.
I like the science behind it, a little twist
Yeah.
too, all the way up.
Walking back, hold the slide this time around. You see a little walk back there by Strider before trying to activate after the sweep. Samurai once again backing up. Very content with fighting out of that corner and needs to be careful swinging back, especially from what you just told me.
Man, she has a 2-bar V-Trigger, by the way. I think she might be able to build it back. She might have enough life.
Maybe.
Samurai playing the keep away game once again. As soon as he gets the life lead, doesn't want to take too many risks here.
Oh wow, runs into the fireball. Samurai playing the lame game once again. This is the team leader for Team Storm. If he can take out the team leader, won't the morale be a little bit crushed?
Not with the likes of Tommy Two-Step. He's way too positive for that.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Oh, that could have been a DP. A little bit more for the V-Trigger to build up.
What a block.
But
Jumps
Samurai's
out with the Tatsu, not able to chase. Oh, the low forward. And right now, it's getting a little dark out there. Samurai, 10 seconds left on the clock with a 80%
Sweet
life
activate.
lead.
It's getting hot in here, Steve.
I don't know, 8 seconds.
No, it's not
I
going to
don't even
happen.
think it's
He's
possible.
going to take all the throws. It doesn't matter. Yep, that's exactly it. Yep, take all the throws as you can. Doesn't matter. And Samurai is taking it over.
Crazy.
Set point once again. Samurai looking to OCV.
Tommy, give me another round. Let me get another round. Your name is Tommy Two Steps. I want 2 rounds.
Tommy, 2 rounds. Here we go. Is Samurai going to deliver
The forward.
fulfilled
Oh my
prophecy?
gosh.
Or is Tommy going to stop him dead in his tracks? The legacy of the Samurai can end here. It could be an end of an era.
No, look at the gray life. On top of how much damage already been done. Crazy with that forward hard punch, catches him with the EX tackle, trying to get out of there. And look at Tommy, he's taking the space. Oh, but he gets the whiff punish. Nothing too big came from it, but Tommy's on his toes right now.
No anti-air either, and I understand. Wait a minute, he's gonna land into it.
Not this time. You can't get away from it this time. Goes to the
Oh, he
core.
dropped the rest of it.
V reversal. He has one more mirror though. He can make something big happen from this. Oh, the throw tech so good on the other
Punish.
side.
Okay,
What?
never mind.
He recovers so fast.
I thought
No
that was
more
gonna be a
mirror.
punish.
Core punch block. There's the test by Samurai.
Brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. It's come down to the final.
Wow, I can't believe.
Oh, and he gets it. Samurai fulfill it.
All right, with Team Frost opting to ban G away from Team Captain 801 Strider, a lot of people before the match might have thought that he would have gone to his previous main in Laura. But Strider gave everyone the first look at his Lucia, the first Season 4 character, to debut in SFL. Not only did we see the first dabble into the new character post-EVO, we also saw the first victory as Gustavo took the first game over Sherry Genix. What did you guys think of the Lucia so far? SplicedHelix.
I like Lucia as a character, so seeing her on Street Fighter League is pretty cool. It's the 3 new characters bring another level of, I guess, not really competition, but strategy to the competition, because you have to, I mean, it's not all fleshed out yet, because they're so new that you're not going to have tons and tons of practice against them like you would anybody else. So it's a good pick to bring in the new characters, And Lucia's really good. His Lucia, I've met online a couple of times. It was not a fun experience. No. You think his G is bad, and once that character gets to the level of G and he switches mains, it'll be warranted because his Lucia is strong. And I'm glad we get to see the new characters in this season. I'm going to be surprised if anybody picks E Honda, though.
That is 100% fair. Mortsy, thoughts on the Lucia?
Okay, so the way the game against Team Frost, so the Lucia looked fine. The character itself looked fine, but the name of the game against Frost is, and especially this season, obviously, it's basically the name of the game against Samurai is you need to be able to beat Samurai. And if in those clips, you can just see he wasn't even like, it wasn't pressure. He was just running away. He was keeping neutral and just destroying you there. God damn, can Akuma ever zone? With using the jump back EX fireball was so just halted so many approaches. And then as soon as he's cornered, he just jumped forward and tattoos out. And then he's backdash. And even Lucio couldn't catch up. So my only issue with the Lucia pick is, was he under the, I'm assuming Strider was under the interpretation that it was good enough and to beat Samurai Akuma, because that was obviously the most important part. And so it looked good. Obviously, it looked good against Sherry. I like that he's using V-Trigger too. I think he's one of the few Lucias that actually uses it, frankly. A majority of them use it because they love that one mix-up you get. The only mix-up you get with a V-Trigger 2. Actually, you can do some pretty cool stuff with it, but it's not like, it's not a Fang mix.
Nobody plays that character, though.
Yeah, I know. Like Canada and SFL. Or Deancer or someone. I guess Jesus would be the other one. Or Nova Spec. God, just one of them. Princess Slim. Actually, she would have been great. Anyways, yeah, so the Lucia was good. It still looks good, but the main thing is you have to beat Samurai. So this might not have been the best pick to go with because it doesn't get in. Lucia has a horrible time with zoners. Sure, she can slide under the fireball, but most of the time when she slides under them, she's still minus. So she can't actually convert off of that crouch or that little of the slide that she does. So good pick, or a good character pick for Strider, not a good character for dealing with Samurai Akuma item, personally.
Yeah, no, it's you and I talked about this, Mortsy, when Lucia first came out, and the first thing I said was, can she get it against Guile? That was the first thing that I said.
She can.
And
she has no projectile invincible thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But the slide is really good against Sonic Boom.
Yeah, the slide's good. It's just majority of the time you're still minus after the slide. Like it's hella minus.
It's very spacing dependent.
Yeah, even on hit, it's pretty minus.
Yeah, also, the majority of the cast also has, the get off me tool, especially the zoners. Like, when you push her back out, her issue is, it's not only getting in, it's staying in. Right? Yeah. So it's one of those things that, we're not sure how it's going to play out, but we'll see if we do get to see more of that, because we're expecting G to get target banned a lot facing Team Storm.
Only half the season.
Only half the season, though. Yeah, well, that's turns out that's such a huge issue right now, and we're actually going to get into why. Second game of the set. Unfortunate for Dual Kevin. The bans targeted him from the other team, his main character Rashid, and his own team. Targeting Gustavo means his secondary G also off the table. Dual Kevin opted to go with the big fundamental. Only he's not Tim Duncan, it's Ryu. His Ryu didn't bring his dancing shoes to meet Tommy Two-Step and his Urian, and the face of the franchise found himself in a familiar situation since Street Fighter V Season 2. Face down on the ground. Do you agree with Dual Kevin's choice, or should he have gone in a different direction? Mortsy.
So obviously Ryu is not a character you go, this feels good. This is the character I want to play. It's very, very rarely that happens. But although I will say that when we have watching some of the Japanese Ryus, holy shit, are they? It's not even, obviously they're very, very good, but they're comfortable. They're so comfortable, and they use his V skill to its maximum potential. Mind games based around that whole deal, so it's really, really cool to watch. But what I noticed with Dual Kevin, obviously the only thing I don't know which other character he could have played, because I don't know how deep his pocket is. Obviously the G being banned sucks. It's actually something I want to also touch on, is that G being your, for both Team Psycho and for Team Storm, it's really actually great that their best character is, or their best player is a G player, because it means that banning away that team, because there are so many Gs in the league, banning away the G means that oftentimes you're removing it from your own team. There aren't many teams, I guess Team Spirit has no G. Team Gale, Team Gale gets screwed. Inferno, those are pretty much, that's pretty much it. Every other team has a G that I can think of.
I've been saying it since season 1, man, Banji.
Yeah. But this is the thing, is that it opens up your own team to, it basically gives you, like in this case, obviously Dual Kevin got screwed, but if you, I wonder what's going to happen. It'll be really interesting when Psycho and Storm fight, because both teams could ban G. It's both good, but you don't want to be the team to ban G. Right? Because that way you just basically lost a ban, because you banned your own team as well. They might as well. So it's actually, I bet the first time it's whoever's second might ban G, but they also just might be like, let's just run it. Like, let's just leave G on the table.
They'll let it ride.
But, what was the initial question? That was a huge tangent.
I was just going to ask, the original question was, do you agree with Dual Kevin's choice of Ryu, or could he have gone in a different direction?
So with Dual Kevin's Ryu, actually, you can see he has the exact same habits that he does as Rashid. All of the same, he was doing the exact same things, hitting Fierce twice in a row. That's a classic. That's a Dual Kevin classic, with Fierce into Fierce. And then on top of that, literally round start of the clip, he goes crouch jab and crouch Fierce. And the crouch Fierce is in the sky, but normally that's the double halal that he's hitting. So it's, I don't think he's necessarily comfortable with the Ryu, but this might be a situation that we see further, specifically probably against Team Psycho and maybe against Gale the second time around. Because I doubt, we'll probably see at least Shine's going to be banned for half this season, I imagine, because it's just a good, stable ban. But I don't know about if you ban the G or you just ban a character that Do also has. So I don't mind the Ryu, because I don't know if he has anything else. So if he had to do something, obviously it'd just be better if he was playing Akuma. But yeah. So I think it was fine, given my lack of knowledge of the rest of his character.
I mean, yeah, I think you touched on it, like halfway through your tangent, was that we don't know how deep his pockets go, and nobody's going to pick Ryu on purpose to try to fill out a random select. If he had nothing else, he had nothing else. At that point, just for the production value, at that point, I would have gone to random select and just hit the button.
There's only one person who's going to do that, and we know who it is.
And I really hope he does it this season.
I
want him to do it once.
Automatic?
Yeah. Absolutely. Me personally, when I looked at it, and I just think about his gameplay and where he comes from. Obviously, Dual Kevin has a Marvel background, so you start thinking about which characters sort of fit that sort of rush down style. I agree with Mortsy that he could have, if he was going to pick a Shoto anyways, he probably should have went with Akuma to have some sort of like rush down sort of thing. I'm surprised he didn't think about Cammy for a second. Because
Or Jury.
in terms of play style, in actual play style with the way he plays Rashid, these characters sort of fit that mold, and he could have just done exactly what he could be doing with Rashid with another character, and see if that panned out any better. Picking the face of the franchise, who has been looking like the homeless bum that he is since season 2, is kind of rough. So I don't know.
Been through enough.
He has been through a lot. At least he's not dead.
True.
Just saying.
Or half dead.
Or half dead. Or whatever Nash is. That's where we've been going. Anyways, last topic on this one, and you're going to be hearing this a lot if this continues the way it goes. Again. Down 0-2. Akuma on the character select screen. The familiar pre-match meditation. And for some of us, Britney Spears blaring in the background. Oops, he did it again. Samurai down 0-2 with his character unbanned, takes down Mojo's Mika, Strider's Lucia, and Tommy's Urian in 3 matches that went down to the final game each. Another OCV to start the season for Samurai. Do we have another instance of Team Storm Season 1 with this iteration of Team Frost Season 2? SplicedHelix.
MVP Season 1. I mean, he's just doing the same thing he was doing last time. He comes and plays, and I don't know how you stop that kind of OCV train. It's barreling down the tracks, and you're standing in front of him with a hay bale. It's like, stop! No, not going to stop. There was a point in there that didn't make the highlight reel of him versus Tommy Two-Step, where he was in the air and Tommy Two-Step threw a mirror out that he was going to land on, and he did an EX air fireball, bounced just right, just past it to where it didn't hit him. I mean, the dude's Akuma. If you don't ban it, you got to deal with it, and that's a problem.
One of the other things that's a problem, obviously with the where the bans are now, you can't ban Akuma for the entire season. So Mikey gets to play for half the season at least, and that could spell 5 wins for this team. Mortsy, you when you first got to Vancouver were a proprietor of the reverse sweep. How did you feel about this reverse sweep from XSK Samurai?
This is same old, man. So it's funny that we talk about like, oh, Team Storm reverse sweeping, and now it's Team Frost. It's like it's been the same guy the whole time. So it's just the Samurai is just a very, very strong player, and you can actually tell. What's really interesting, and that's something I really like, is that he's very, very calm. You can tell if you were to show this clip without any name and just Akuma versus whoever, I think you'd be able to tell who it is just from watching the gameplay, because he plays such a slow, methodical, and he sticks to his game plan. I don't think the other thing is he very rarely ended up with a life deficit due to playing like he was, and because of that, he didn't have to. He didn't really have to switch. He didn't have to swap, and so he was able to stick to his game plan for the entire time. And you could just see it was really interesting because there was never at any point where he's at a severe advantage, but just slowly throughout the games, the life bar just started being more and more spaced apart. And that's the Samurai effect, where it's like he's poisoning his opponent.
I was about to say, since it was you talking, it's kind of like he was playing Fong. The way Fong should have been intended and designed.
Actually, though, it's really interesting to watch, and I'm honestly just looking forward to seeing more of that kind of play, because it's such a deviation from what we normally see in the game as a whole, frankly. So this is just more of the same from Samurai, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it later. 100%.
If he OCVs every single team that they go up against while he has Akuma, Is that just automatically season 2 MVP again?
Most likely, especially if he picks up any wins on secondary.
Whatever secondary he picks.
But I think the MVP is going to be a lot more up for grabs this time around because everyone is going to get a chance to play. I think Idom could have gotten MVP last season if it wasn't for the fact he didn't get to play for most. But even now, this time around, it's a different story.
Yeah, this time around, everyone will at least get to play half the season, which makes for much more entertaining Street Fighter, obviously, and just higher caliber of play. That covers the second matchup for Week 2. The final match for Week 2 was Team Psycho versus Team Spirit, closing it out. Team Spirit and Team Psycho, last season's iterations of these teams, were just quite frankly a letdown. New teams, captained by CJ Truth and Smug, respectively, were looking to write a new chapter for Spirit and Psycho in the SFL. Psycho seemingly has the most depth of any team in SFL history, with Automatic and Denkadia's character pools alone, while Spirit's tournament experience has them primed to be one of the favorites of the season, as we talked about in our preview and draft special. Let's take a look at how this one played out. Team Spirit versus Team Psycho.
You said this is getting pretty annoying, and you can tell that that V-skill float definitely helps him out with the counter hit.
Yeah, caught him right in the startup of the EX Tiger Knee, if I'm not mistaken.
Defense back to being solid for Art. Check out my meme. Young Art in the building. Oh, he definitely scouted that jump. Didn't work out, but still in control.
And the lockdown from Sabin once again. Just in case Automatic wants to move, he goes air to air with them. Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still durable.
It's still there. Tries to go for the edge here and goes for a reset instead of taking the combo damage. Oh wow.
Got the throw bait, Automatic, keeping him locked.
Tries to jump out that time. Still alive though.
Nice throw bait.
Using all of that trigger. Trying to get him to swing, teleports to the other side.
Ooh.
Takes the escape
Oh,
instead,
and
the nice!
He took his other eye. Denkadias, a new tenant. Oh, damn!
Alright, getting close to that corner. And now that offense is coming out. You can see Denkadias playing a little faster, but still that command throw coming from Laura. He just knows where to place it.
Yeah, a little bit of the subtle differences between Denkadias and Sabin is that Sabin kind of likes to play the more defensive style of Dhalsim, where we see Denkadias kind of utilize the offensive capabilities that Dhalsim has in Street Fighter V. Yep, again, rushing him down a little by little.
Oh,
yes,
takes the hit and still gets some damage. Dhalsim took a little damage though. Took a little bit of it.
And he's gonna bring it back? Yes, sir. But that's no longer a threat. No view reversals.
You don't want to take that full charge trade. Gets the knockdown.
You saw the fireball startup from Denkadias.
Here we go. Last chance.
Insane. Insane amount of confirms from CJ Truth. The focus and precision right now. This is not even his main character,
Yeah. This is how prepared he is. We talked about the fact that he beat Tokido in tournament. That's an Evo champion. You know he has some chops. CJ Truth showing what he's worth right now. There's another forward throw. As a captain, nonetheless.
Oh, okay. No punish there. A little bit too far out. Slight mishap there for Smug. Went for the screw upper.
Yeah, that upper. Gotta hit crouching.
That's it. No, that's all she wrote. CJ Truth. Close it out. Boom. Into.
First match of the set saw Sabin, excuse me. I'm used to saying the professional.
Arturo.
It's Arturo. Let's call him Art. And the debut of Dhalsim in Street Fighter League take on the human random select lab monster in Automatic, who went with Sagat. Art was the last pick in the Season 2 draft. Quite the surprise considering his NLBC tournament experience, and may have had something more to prove against the online aficionado. Does Art have a chip on his shoulder like Rob TV does last season? And what did you think about his play in the victory over Automatic? Mortsy.
I don't know if Arturo will have that kind of chip, especially because I think he's ancient, and so it's like, I don't think he cares. I think honestly, he's probably like, "Yo, I ended up on Team Spirit. Like, are you joking?" Like, I think he's probably just counting himself lucky, frankly. The fact that he ended up on the team that he did, I'm still blown away by the fact that people waited to pick. Mind you, damn, does I love Automatic Sagat, dude. I love it so much. That dude, the way he plays the character is so fun. It's so sick. Like, and that was the most offensive. Obviously, Bonchan. When you think about Sagat, it's Bonchan. Automatic, it's got to be him and Zaffarino are probably the best Sagats in North America. I goes to say it. So damn, I love me some good Sagat. I don't think, but Art's a monster, dude. You don't win NLBC beating IDOM tons of times without being just an incredible player. So the fact that he got dropped to last pick is wild. It is honestly absurd. And I believe it was Punk, or no, because wasn't CJ first pick?
CJ was first pick, yeah.
So literally every other captain is going to be thinking, "Fuck, why? Why did I pick? Why?" So because Automatic was like the first one, wasn't he? He was first pick. He was fifth pick.
Yeah, from the Online Warriors. Yeah, Smug picked him first.
And I understand it, but it's just like, you know, you had Saban was there, you know. I guess he didn't want. I guess he already had Dank too, so he's kind of screwed if he also picked Arturo. So yeah. That's fine. He is an excuse, but still, yeah. Actually, on that note, that would have, if Smug's team was Smug, Dank, Arturo, they would have been screwed for ban. Holy shit, would they have ever been screwed? Yeah. They can't. There's 2 G players, 2 Dalsum players. Arturo's secondary is like poison or something. What was it? And then Dank's secondary is, outside of that, is Blanca. I guess he was playing Rashid, but that was after SFL.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and they'd be screwed the whole time too, because you can only ban one person's character. Yeah. But you switch from Dank's Dalsum to Art's Dalsum, and you got blanket Dalsum bans for the whole thing.
Exactly. So they would have been in a very, very rough spot. So Dank probably wouldn't have played Dalsum for the entire season if that had happened. They would have left it to Arturo, and then when Sim was banned, they would have. So I get Smug not picking up. Other captains have no excuse, except for, actually, I guess Dual Kevin kind of has it. So Strider, you got nothing.
I was gonna say, do it. Punk can't really pick him up, so
yeah,
we're down to one.
Strider, what are you doing? Although no, wait, Strider got Tommy.
Strider got Tommy on the way back. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even that. Honestly, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, no. Saban is the best player, but at least this time it wasn't like there was no clear answer. But I get them. Their reasons, Dual Kevin's reason is terrible, frankly. In a competition, it's bad. But Smug's is good. Smug has a great excuse. So, yeah. Anyways, Saban's a monster. I'm looking forward to him playing and continuing to crush people.
He's also probably not going to get banned the entire season between IDOM and
100%.
CJ. So
yep.
We're going to see 10 games of Dalsum. We're going to see 10 games of veteran instincts, and we're going to see a whole lot of fun. SplicedHelix talked to me about the Dalsum and how Art was playing in week 2.
Art was playing like Art. He's got textbook Dalsum. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's extremely 100% comfortable with pretty much every matchup. You know, he knows how to play. He knows what his character does, and he just goes in there and does it. He doesn't have to worry about, like you say, he doesn't have to worry about a ban. Nobody's going to ban Dalsum just because, when you've got other stronger characters to ban. And it might bite you in the ass because it's Art playing Dalsum. And he is good enough to take out Laura and NLBC, so he's a force to be reckoned with, but it's just par for the course. You know, he was playing his game.
All right, so Art, either fortunate enough to fall into the laps of Team Spirit, or he's just gonna play his game no matter which team he ended up on, and we'll see how he does throughout the season. The second match, very interestingly enough, was IDOM. IDOM got to play Laura. CJ Truth as his captain. Smug interestingly chose to target Cammy for the ban, which CJ Truth hasn't actually played in quite some time. The EVO 2019 finalists wasted little time dispatching good brother and friend of the show, Dan Cadias, who went with his original main in Dulcim in the hopes of keeping Laura out. Many would argue, as we were discussing earlier, that based on IDOM's experience against teammate Art at NLBC, that this pick was highly questionable on the part of Dan Cadias, who has a slew of other characters to choose from in his arsenal that IDOM might be less familiar with. Should Dan Cadias have picked a different character for this matchup, or was this more about IDOM's dominance as a player? SplicedHelix.
I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, it's fair to go with, he obviously has the experience just from playing against Art, and you got to know that just by watching streams every now and again. And I don't think it would have mattered if he had picked somebody else, because it's IDOM's Laura. You know, like you said, the dude was top 8 at Evo. But I think he could have gone with somebody else. I think he should have gone with somebody else, just based off of the experience that IDOM has against Dawson. But everybody gets mixed up the same way. So, you know.
That was, of course, the Mortsy quote from Season 1, that everybody gets mixed the same. More on that, SplicedHelix?
It's just more of the same. You know, you can pick what you want, but it's like the Punk problem was last season. You know, you can pick whatever character you want. It might not make it.
Mortsy, how did you feel about the Dulcim pick on the part of Dan Cadias, and could he have gone in a different direction?
He certainly could have, but honestly, I think when you're playing a player of IDOM's caliber, you kind of go with what you're most comfortable with. And in this case, it's the same, even if he has tons of experience. Like, because I played, obviously my experience isn't going to be as fantastic, but I played IDOM at Combo Breaker, and obviously I could have played Rashid, and that probably would have been way better. Even though, especially because he has so much bloody Fang experience against Mastermind, which is the only Laura in the world with good Fang experience. But I'm going to do what I'm most comfortable in, because obviously I'm going to know the matchup the best on the character that I've played the most. It's of course going to be, because I don't think, obviously there's Mira, and is there another, Sayu played Laura, but I think he played more Urian while he was really going to Wednesday night fights. So there isn't really a Laura outside of Mira, and even then, most of the time she's playing Ibuki at Wednesday night fights, where Dank would get most of his experience. And online as well, you're not going to run into IDOM caliber Laura players, so you're going to put your best foot forward 100%, and I think that for Dank is going to be it's whatever you feel most comfortable.
No, that's 100% fair. 100% fair. Me personally, I've seen Dank work with some of the other characters. If you guys watch his stream, of course, twitch.tv/DankAdias, you can take a look at some of the stuff that he's done. I've been impressed with the Blanca. I've been impressed with the Urian. And as we mentioned, he didn't really have the Rashid until after SFL, unfortunately, because that would have been interesting, I think, if he picked the Rashid in this particular matchup as well. But I guess it wasn't ready at the time. So, as previously mentioned, Smug made the unusual choice of banning CJ's Cammy. Recent tournaments have seen CJ playing Colleen over Cammy, so it's possible that Smug may have missed the mark on his target ban. CJ most definitely made Smug pay for his transgressions, picking Karen to dispatch with Balrog in short order with the target ban of G aimed at Smug. Many have clamored in recent memory that Karen is far too strong in this iteration of Street Fighter V. Did CJ's performance with the character show that this is true? Or was this also the case of Smug having ring rust with his previous main character in Balrog? Mortsy.
For one, I'm just going to comment quickly on the ban. I think that Smug's team gets slaughtered by Cammy. Especially for the picks they went with today. It's irrelevant how well you do against the other players if you're just going to get OCV'd by Cammy. So Cammy, I like the ban, honestly. I think it was fine. CJ's Karen looked good. So no fault. Karen's a goddamn good character. I don't know if the rust was that bad. You know, like you play that character for 3 seasons now. I don't think doesn't really go away. You know, obviously. So I think he did fine. I just think the strategy was sound. The execution wasn't necessarily there. That's all. It was the right idea because damn, is that ever tough. I'm under the impression, based on, I think Brian F has talked about how Balrog Cammy is tough. Obviously she dolls him, and probably, actually, you know what? I don't know about the Sagat matchup. I'm not 100% sure because I'm sure a DP just kind of melts her every time she jumps up in the air. But obviously the rushdown is going to be really hard to deal with. So the game plan makes sense. But they just weren't able to execute on it. And I don't know, that's fine. You got to set yourself up for success. Because there's no point in we'll win these 2 games and then we'll lose to Cammy. So you got to set yourself up under the notion this is the strategy that is going to get us to win. And next time, if they feel like they want to play against the Cammy, they just ban someone else and try a different strategy, right? That's and they're literally going to be forced. It just sucks that they actually ended up losing when they went for the Cammy Gambit, because it means that strategy is gone. So when you ban the big, you need to win. Especially, that's going to be very, very important. So if you don't win when you banned the strongest opponent, that is going to suck, because next time you're not going to beat them. And that's going to ban Laura. Sorry?
But they didn't ban Laura.
No, yeah, you're right. But I think Laura, they have better matchups against Laura than they do against Cammy. But we're going to see that as actually going to be a common theme against Team Frost. If you do not pick up a win when Akuma is banned, then you're not going to probably pick up a win when it's not. So it will be interesting to see. I think Smug, I think they were fine, honestly. I think it was fine. CJ, I think the Karen might have surprised him. I've literally never seen him play Karen before. Maybe I'm just stuck under a rock and he's playing it all the time. I'll have to check his online account's match history and we'll find out. But yeah, I thought it was fine. Just, again, they went for the win. They didn't go for the tight loss. They went for the win and just weren't able to get it.
SplicedHelix, were you surprised by the Karen pick on the part of CJ Truth?
It surprised me as far as I don't see him play Karen a lot, but I also don't see him stream a lot. So it could just be my lack of being online when he is, but it surprised me enough to make my eyebrows raise. But he had to play somebody else, so basically anybody else that he picked was going to do that anyway. I don't think the Cammy ban was out of left field. It's like Mortsy said, it's bad matchups for a lot of those characters. So the Colleen.
That's what I was going to ask. Are you shocked that he didn't pick Colleen? Because he had been playing Colleen a lot on the CPT.
Yeah, that might have been more, I guess, more on brand for him. But hey, it's a strong character, so if you want to pick it, go for it. Whether or not you're the most practiced with it, it might just work.
did it look like to you guys, and I'll pose this question to both of you, did it look like to you guys that this was practiced at all in terms of the skill level that he displayed with the Karen? Either one of you can go.
You practice Karen. Karen isn't a I don't think Karen's one of those characters you can just pull out, frankly. And I'm sure that he's played it a bunch online. Like, CJ seems like the kind of guy who's just like, I'm going to play this character today. Like, that's kind of how Colleen started, wasn't it? He just started running into this bonefish, this Colleen with the tag bonefish. It's like, this is kind of annoying. And then I imagine he did the same thing where he just practiced it. He just seems like the kind of guy who's just like, I feel like playing this character today. And then he just plays it for a long time. Now it's in the arsenal.
Yeah, let me hop on my third account.
Yeah,
and practice the Karen. You know, it's a common thing. I do it. I have a Nash account. It's, you know.
So do I.
See, you know, when you want to learn something, and you know, it's not necessarily going to be out in the open for everybody to see, but you know, it happens. It goes on. So I think he practiced. I don't think you can really know outside of the big things you see on streams or highlights with Karen unless you actually practice.
Yeah, no, that's 100% fair. All right, that closes out week 2, match day 1, which we missed last week due to scheduling issues. So after that week, your standings went as follows. Team Spirit in first with a 3-0 victory, 1-0, or 1-0 record. Team Gale with a 3-1 victory, 1-0 record. Team Frost with a 3-2 victory on the OCV from Samurai, 1-0 record. Then Team Storm losing 3-2 in 4th. Team Inferno losing 3-1 in 5th. And then Team Psycho rounding it out. Feels like we're hitting the redundancy button on Team Psycho, at least for now, as they are, once again, in last place. Yikes. Going into week 3, which team would emerge on top? Which teams will bounce back from defeat? And which team will be paying rent in the basement? Let's find out right now. This is part 2 of the mega episode of Beyond the Fist. A reminder, video footage from Street Fighter League Pro US is used with permission from Capcom. Follow the Capcom Pro Tour and Street Fighter League on Twitch at twitch.tv/CapcomFighters, on YouTube at youtube.com/CapcomFightersTV, and on Facebook Live at facebook.com/CapcomFighters. First match for week 3 features the very game Team Spirit at 0-1. Thanks to a Samurai OCV reverse sweep, taking on defending champion Team Inferno. Also at 0-1, looking to right the ship after losing the salty run back to a calculated game plan from Team Gale. Let's take a look at highlights from this first match.
Broly. Mojo's been caught multiple times with the EX lightning legs.
Well, you got to remember, man, Broly Legs has been doing this for quite some time. He's all about, like, conserving. He knows that the match isn't over, and I feel like he's really smart when it comes to conserving meter.
His anti-airs are so on point,
ridiculous.
Steve.
Okay, plus you can't hit a button after that.
Well, you can do that, and then you get punished for it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. That crouching medium kick has been doing work.
No letting up. You're in my way. Nice block there from Mojo on the other side. Broly Legs still on the offensive.
Yo, this trigger is helping out Broly Legs right now. Back dash goes for the standing fierce right there.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Finally gets to the corner. I like the stand jab. Broly Legs still coming. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. This is going to be pretty big damage right here.
Dang.
Oh, you got to jump out. That command throw. Oh.
Yo.
Mojo.
Oh, no, not the kick to the face. I love that song, by the way. Well, I mean, yeah, what about it? Don't make a deal with the devil. Don't shake his hand. The standstill. Punk already in this corner. Finds a jump out, but it's still Tommy two-step, catching him on the way down with that stand medium punch. And full conversion. Oh, yeah, that's a punish on the sweep.
And look at the cash out on that damage. He took off 30% just based off of the Great Life adding up.
Yeah, he had to cancel into V-trigger off that V-skill, extend the combo. The baton. Gunsmoke gets the Oki.
That V-trigger too with the Gunsmoke extension at the end, that's good.
Yeah, gets a gun smoke. You don't shake his hand. What did we tell you?
Man, that crouch medium kick. Woo!
Dang, jump back roundhouse is so far, and he gets the throw. Tommy, two-step, takes it.
Ball means you can get the run up and try these other things, but he's ready with the jab. Set point coming up for 801 Strider.
And so far, going into this potential final round or final game, you know, Team Storm has won 2 of their games so far.
No punish right there. Oh.
I can't believe it. Mojo won 2-0. Tommy won 2-1. Strider, if he gets 2-0, that's a lot of wins under their belt.
Oh, it's not
No
ready.
conversion on the Sonic Scythe. He could have gone double jab Sonic Scythe.
Ugh. He's getting better with it. His button placement is really, really good, but he's not able to make anything big happen, and 801 Strider's taking full advantage.
Oh,
Back throw.
his back broken. Oh my God, he grabbed the normal. Did you see that,
Yeah,
Steve?
that's what happens, bro. This dude G is actually a problem. Forward throw, and that.
Couple of interesting surprises on the part of the Team Inferno game plan in Week 3. After some alleged trash talk on the part of 801 Strider, who promised a victory if G is left unbanned, Inferno actually complied. Chose to target Mojo's Mika instead. Mojo's Mika definitely a feared opponent, but the secondary who broke out had me doing my best Belle Biv DeVoe impression. The debut of Poison in Street Fighter League. Mojo put on a clinic with the final fight dominatrix taking down Broly legs relatively easily. Was Mojo's Poison, quote, so fly, she'll drive you out of your mind, end quote. Or was this a lack of character or matchup knowledge capitalized on? SplicedHelix.
Yeah, it's like I was saying with Lucia before. It's just you've gotta account for new characters that you're not gonna know the matchup in. I think that was, though, my poor Team Inferno, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I don't think Broly should have lost that. I think that should have been a Broly win, and it wasn't. So, you know, you just kind of started out with a little bit of a downslide, and then the character choices. I don't know. I like seeing Nash. That's a positive. That's the only one I got, though.
Mortsy, how'd you feel about the Poison?
So, there's multiple facets to the character choice being questionable. Not only, this is actually one of the parts I was alluding to in the last one, where certain character bans can be rationalized around saving the strong ban for the second half, for the second time. So I can see them just being like, you know what? Like, we're going to have to do a strategy at some point. Let's get it out of the way now. So we're going to ban it. Maybe they thought the same thing with Gale. They're like, you know what? We're going to have to deal with Knuckle Dude G eventually. Let's just get out of the way. Because I could see if they do this, you know, if they do it tomorrow, if they do this ban again, where they ban like not the strongest person on the other team, I could see them then sticking with this strategy for the entire first half, where they just ban the weaker player or the weaker player's character first, and then next half they just slaughter everyone by banning their strong matchups. That doesn't necessarily excuse them looking like they're throwing, because why the hell did Punk pick Lucia? Although he has been playing, before this, he was playing a hell of a lot of Lucia. Like a lot of Lucia. But obviously, dude, you have so many better characters to pick than that.
You want to win and you can't pick
Than
Karen.
the cowgirl. So, character picks were weird. JB's made sense, but this is another, I already talked about this, but JB was picking to win the game and not the set. obviously, because otherwise you probably pick Birdie there because Nash, Urian, and Poison. I have no idea how those matchups go. Jesus, I can't even like.
I'll jump into
I wonder
that.
if
When we get to that, I'll jump
Nash
into it,
can
yeah.
punish EX heart rate because it's 2 hits, so you reversal the first and then punish the second one. So I wonder if that would be a thing, which would be really good. That would actually be most of those like V-reversal characters: Nash, Ed, Rashid, Poison, or Fang, Poison. So yeah, I think they're weird. They're weird picks. I could see I'm like mentally rationalizing them. I'm trying to make up excuses for the picks. JB's makes sense. Punk's doesn't. The ban can make sense, but even then, you ban. And the issue being Tommy isn't a great candidate. He's not like you ban Yuri and he plays Chun, right? That's not. And generally, they're both around the same kind of. They're both around the same level, so he's a tough ban target. So that's why I could see why they banned the Mika. They probably like, if we had to deal with a secondary, the Poison's probably the weaker of the. And then it ends up that it was still strong. Maybe it's still the weaker of the two, but it's still strong enough where it's not just a free game. Because he only had to play Broly Legs, we didn't get a chance to see how it might have fared against the others. Because obviously you're beating Broly Legs, but that doesn't necessarily say a lot when you're at this caliber. Obviously Broly Legs still kept it close. God, but I actually really love the way that Mojo played. Like that backdash to dodge it, he could have literally done anything other than super to kill him, but he just did it for the style and it was great. So I thought that was really cool. And the read on the EX bird kick, like, dude looks comfortable, which is really nice. So the picks on Inferno, the picks on Gale are the picks on Storm, great.
All right, so Mortsy, you did answer the next question, so we're actually going to skip it. We were going to talk about defending or attacking Punk for picking Lucia, but I think this panel is in agreement that why the hell did he pick Lucia? Unless you guys had something else to add to that one, SplicedHelix or Mortsy.
No, I mean he may have been banking on winning outright and making teams go, oh well, we might have to deal with this Lucia if we don't ban that, but that didn't happen at all. So
oh no, Punk Lucia.
All right, so let's jump to the next topic for this particular matchup then. Targeted for the ban for the second week in a row, JB was not only put to a decision, but had his back against the wall, down 0-2 against Team Spirit. What do you do when your back is against the wall? Apparently, you pick a character who matches your predicament. You pick Nash. Given the opposing characters on paper, however, this seemed like it would be a favorable matchup for JB, with the exception of perhaps Poison. Gustavo himself has stated that Nash is one of G's worst matchups, but it didn't look like JB's Nash was up to the task. The end result, 0-2 for the defending Season 1 champions. I'm sorry that I keep repeating that, SplicedHelix, but it is what it is. What can Inferno do to right the ship and get back into championship form? SplicedHelix.
stop sandbagging. Play the game, man. I mean, it's like has been said, what, like 3 or 4 times. It looks like they came to lose. It looks like they're throwing on purpose. I know they're not, but it's what it looks like. You don't pick Lucia when you're Punk and you have Colleen in the back. It's, I don't know, man. I don't know what they can do, but they better do something because I'm about to jump Team Spirit. So stop it.
You're on the Spirit train. That's got to be something. That's a reference to something. It's got to be Spirit Tracks is Zelda. But I can't think of anything else that's Spirit Train. It's got to be some 70s song.
Oh man, I'm just
think about the Woodstock.
I just think back to 2 weeks ago when we did the draft special, and we all agreed that we weren't going to jump ship at all, and we're already talking about jumping ship in week 3.
Hey! I said in the draft special that the only reason that I picked Inferno was because I had to, because I picked them last season and they won, and that if I was going to switch teams, that it would be Spirit. I said that. It's on record. Okay. I have the VODs. I have the receipts.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mortsy, talk to me about what the heck can Team Inferno do to turn this one around?
Not throw. That's always a good start. Are they taking it? I guess it all depends on whether or not they're taking it seriously. If you try and kind of discern, like, okay, they want to win. I don't think we've seen the want to win yet. I think if JB was playing, I bet he would want to win. Punk looked like he wanted to win last week, but it seems like they thought they could maybe just wander into this one and pull out a win. And they're like trying to style. I think Strider's trash talk before went a long way. Because he goaded them into being like, he challenged them. He said, if G goes unbanned, I'm OCV. I'm going to win. So they're like, let's do it. Let's dance. And the best part is, technically this isn't like a big loss for Inferno. Obviously, yes, they've lost. But they were going to have to play against Team Storm with G unbanned regardless at some either now or later. So this was going to probably happen regardless. Obviously, they could have put a much better foot forward. But this kind of thing, they were going to have to deal with it anyways. And if Punk wasn't going to be able to be on his best foot... Actually, no. Punk had Karen available, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Why can I hear you now?
Wait, what?
Right?
Whatever. All right. They're idiots. What the hell? No, that's dumb. I don't know why in God's name you would pick Lucia. Like, you're going to flex on them. Because obviously that's just silly, dude. That's just silly.
If there's a strategy behind it, nobody knows what it is. I don't even think they know what it is.
It's the Punk problem.
Yeah.
It's a
the second season of the Punk problem is a very different problem than it was the first.
It's a new problem for Punk going into season 2. Let's talk about the next matchup now. Up next, the battle at the top. Season 1 runner-up, Team Gale taking on Team Spirit. In week 2, the salty runback went in favor of Team Gale, avenging their finals loss with a huge win to start. Team Spirit also showed why they are, on paper, one of the favorites for Season 2 with a dominating 3-0 victory over Team Psycho. Here are your highlights for Team Gale versus Team Spirit.
There was one night, and you start playing the conventional neutral game, like use your movement and your air game, back dash, forward dash, all of that.
What I noticed is he kept jumping at his crossface range. He's always gonna do that. I'll do a cross up every time.
Yep.
And then because he's not gonna area you. His Karen's not like that, you know. And then he's really just waiting. He's literally just waiting. So place your V skills where you know it's gonna hit or where he's gonna force to block it. And yes, he's still like season 1, so every time he has V trigger, he looks for stand roundhouse. So jump cross up will be good.
In a possible normal. Instead, CJ Truth walked up and said hello. Proper handshake.
Oh, interrupt this time. Wait a minute. This game is definitely opening up in the last round. A lot of these options starting to work out for Shine. Stun is very, very close, and there it is.
The first
Like, if you see them do that whip and up, it's super punishable move, but they're tossing
Oh,
to
it's
the
really
Molotov.
punishable?
Yeah, Molotov. I don't know how negative, but it feels like it's safe. I wouldn't just.
Okay.
Yeah, it's negative, but
It's definitely safe.
they just toss it.
I'm a dash command grab.
No.
I mean, you gotta try it, right?
All right, I'm still alive with this poison. Poison. Oh. Gets to confirm with the EX Peach, but right back to this corner.
No inter. Oh, what a backdash! Plus frames. Trying to jump out of that.
Oh, back to the corner. Bad position to be in. Sets up the mic. Oh.
I thought it was a command grab also.
Yeah.
Idom got caught walking back. Ooh. Yo, get out of there. Not even going to give him a chance to let the V-trigger rock. Nice move from Knuckle-Doo. Found the solution.
Another V-reverse.
And she's not burning from it. By the way.
Oh, you're dead. You are dead. Look at the gray light. Oh!
Okay.
Once you get in the corner, it's free.
All right.
But don't push too much button in neutral. Like, just slowly walk him down. Like, you're gonna say great help, but it's okay. When he does Yoga Gale, I mean, whatever the move's called, when he is in the air floating,
Stasis.
just follow him. And then when he gets to the ground, when he falls to the ground, he's gonna push a normal.
Okay.
So I feel like you should jump there. Like,
Okay.
just wait for him to land on the ground and jump.
All right.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. We can't have us up here.
Yeah, man. This is good. That's what I like. That's.
I can't believe he dashed up for that one. I mean, it was very, very close timing. I didn't think that Rob TV was going to recover in time.
You said don't test his reactions. I was like, I wouldn't have dashed.
That was raw. That was the most raw
That entire round, man. Oh, uh-oh.
I like Sabin not going for the V-trigger just yet, right? He's waiting for Rob TV to let go of the V-trigger.
Yes, but
for
look
the
what
V-gauge.
happened. He just lost 30% life from a throw in gray life.
Ooh.
Good drill to try to get in. Now he has the entire screen behind him. And a lot of times he's overextended right here, and he hasn't had to. Nice anti-air.
And he's waiting. See, he hasn't gone to V-trigger once. He's playing the game with Rob TV's gauge. All that meter, all those resources, Sabin's not going to overcommit.
Oh, great light, check out. Goes for the throw. Oh my God.
You're about to break the table, Steve.
Nice. Oh, dashes
Oh,
through.
yeah, I like
He was
that. Yeah,
too
no, it's
far.
way too far. It's way too far out. Good call.
Oh, the bowling ball through the leg starts, of course, starts the activation.
1, 2, that's all she wrote. Rob TV.
So in this matchup, Team Spirit opted to target Knuckle-Doo this week by banning his current flavor of the month in SFL with G. This left the door wide open for Shine to play Zabuki, probably much sooner than everyone anticipated. Shine Zabuki didn't fare too well in the one match we saw last season, but this is his main character, and in his way, the emerging Karen from CJ Truth. As you saw in the highlights, Team Gale very focused on using their coaching strategies to help their active player make adjustments mid-set. And there's no doubt Knuckle-Doo's tidbits of information were essential in Shine's 2-1 victory over CJ Truth. How impressed were you guys with not only Knuckle-Doo and Rob's information in the mid-set coaching, but with Shine's ability to adapt to the advice as well, Mortsy?
Well, so during this set, I was actually talking shit on Shine the entire time. Because I was like, man, if he gets dusted, because last season, same thing happened. Buki unbanned, dusted. So the fact that he did, obviously, it's up in the air how much the coaching actually helped. Obviously, it's important and nice to have, but you can't say, like, would he have made the adjustments anyways? But he managed to turn it around so well. And it's just a different game when you have two players of the caliber, especially of Knuckle-Doo. Like, Knuckle-Doo, obviously, Rob TV is great to have in your pocket. That dude is, like, the best support and hype guy and he's obviously got extensive knowledge of the game. But then you talk like compared to Do, who's been a top level Street Fighter player for so long, he has such a keen eye for the game, and it's not just that, but he's incredibly articulate. So when he wants to give the advice, it's very clear and concise. So that was awesome. I'm very glad that I thought he was going to get smoked, frankly. Like after that first game, he got rocked, and then suddenly it's like, this isn't as bad anymore, and then he just murders him. Obviously, Ibuki's a dirty cheating character because that jump cross-up and CJ blocked the kunai release, which I was very impressive. That's because otherwise he wouldn't have gotten hit by the cross-up, right? Because it's literally a 50-50. That jump is a 50-50. Insane. So obviously great for him. That was really good. Yeah, it's just another strength that Gale has is their open communication is most likely unmatched by any other. Maybe Team Storm might be talkative, but they have Tommy, so that's like Tommy's like your morale is through the roof, regardless of how the set's going.
Super positive.
Yeah.
SplicedHelix, talk to me about the coaching a little bit. Were you shocked at all at how much depth that both of these players were talking?
I mean, to begin with, reading the rules before the season started, there was something in there that said you can't coach mid-set. It was just 30 seconds beforehand. And I guess they just threw that right out the window. But I think it's doing pretty well, for certain teams. Other teams, not so much. I mean, if you had those headsets on last year or last season with Toy, it probably would have been a whole lot more entertaining, but I don't think it would have been a whole lot more helpful. I think the way that Do uses it and the pointers he gave and just the way that match turned around, you could tell it was from, things clicking in his head that, this is what my captain said, and it's good advice, and I used it, and it's working, so let me keep doing it. And then you saw how it turned out.
That was, I was actually that's the one thing that I wanted to point out as well, was what happened to the actual coaching rule that I thought that we had talked about and read in the rule set for this season, but apparently just have the 3 headsets with the microphones is for everybody this time around. So we'll sort of see how this continues or if it gets implemented at all. The second game saw the targets for the band square off as NuckleDu brought back an old favorite to take on IDOM's Poison, which was praised by Spirit Captain CJ Truth during the bands and player order announcements before the match. During the match, we saw Team Gale taking more advantage of coaching, including a very confident start to Game 2, as you guys saw in the highlight package from NuckleDu, with NuckleDu doing his best Babe Ruth impression and pointing that he's going to hit the home run. Double dash command grab. NuckleDu's Mika looked a lot like the Capcom Cup champion Mika from 3 years past. How impressed are you with NuckleDu's Mika, a character that we haven't seen in quite some time? SplicedHelix.
I like it. I would have liked it more if it was Guile. But, it looked like Capcom Cup Mika. And I'm glad that even though we haven't seen it that much, I'm glad that he kept it at that level that will make you think twice before, even banning Guile instead of Mika. They have to, everybody else now has to look at that and go, maybe we ban Mika from Do. And then you got to deal with everybody else. So does it really matter? It doesn't. Play Guile. Please play Guile. Please play Guile.
Mortsy, did this look a lot like NuckleDu picked Mika the way Punk picked Lucia, only NuckleDu has succeeded in the experiment with picking Mika this time around?
I think I don't actually think that. I think that Mika is weaker G. Right? You kind of get lost in the schmicks. We saw him do the classic. I think of it as the Chicote because that's the only person I've seen really do it, where you throw them into the corner and then immediately V-skill, and it's like if they try to jump out, you get a free anti-air into a mix-up, and you get the mic buff every time. So that was pretty interesting. But I just think that, one, it's pretty easy to maul Poison. She can get mauled so easily. No reversals. Obviously, there's a 3-frame, but it's not that great when you're getting command grab. And the V reversal is it's free every time. You can just spam it, and it's against every EX heart rate. You just hit it every time, and it's a free knockdown every single time, and that's really good against Poison. Poison's gonna suffer against people with decent V reversals. She's very free to it.
Yeah, you addressed that earlier with the movement V reversals as well. How she could fall prey to that one. Did it look like the Capcom Cup champion Mika to you?
I thought it was good. It's just there was so much bravado and confidence coming from NuckleDu. He literally said, "I'm gonna do double dash. I'm gonna do double dash command grab, round start." And he did it immediately, and it worked. And that's the kind of I am so confident, and that also shows that Mojo is kind of scared because he come on, double dash. Mind you, I am not one to talk, but it's still damn, he's that hesitant to contest, I guess. And as Poison, I don't think that's acceptable. That's not something you can let go when you have such a reach. Round start, you can crouch fears. Obviously, a huge risk if she jumps, so it's kind of tough as Poison. And then there's the mauling again, right? It just all kind of comes back to the mauling. So obviously, Do looked very, very good, but I'd like to see him play against if we go back to Northwest Major, where he tried Mika against G and got against Strider G and got absolutely picked apart, and just nothing worked. So I think it's gonna vary greatly because G against characters who have the tools and the people who are comfortable to use them.
Were you guys surprised at all with the pick of Mika over other characters that Do has in his pocket as a secondary?
Yes, Guile destroys Poison. Pick Guile. Just play Guile.
Is it though? Does she though? Does she though?
Does she what?
Lose that badly to Guile?
Yeah. In my experience.
She trades advantageously with every boom. Because heart rate does 100 damage and boom does 50, 60.
Well, if you do the right distance, Guile's got all screen.
He's what?
Guile has the whole screen. If you Sonic Boom from full screen, you won't get caught by anything.
Oh yeah. But I think
I just keep her at full screen. She does the rope swing.
But you just stay close as Poison. Obviously, we're gonna have different experiences with the matchup.
Yeah.
So we're not getting anywhere with this. But I respect the pick, but I just think Do is more comfortable. At this point, he might actually be more comfortable. And especially I think Guile's less of a good character against someone who's less comfortable with that character. So I think Mika is the kind of character is let's see how good you know defense. You know how to do combos. How's your D?
Yeah, no, that is 100% fair. Last point on this matchup. In a battle of players who were placed on their teams, the last picks. Season 1's final pick, Rob TV, took on Season 2's final pick in Arturo. Both are playing well above their draft placement so far. Rob TV with a victory over his character's worst matchup in Birdie during Week 2. And Art with a tight set over Automatic to break into the win column. This one also came down to the wire. 2-1 down to the wire. Absolutely incredible set. With Art looking to control space while Rob was fighting his way into said space. Again, we saw fantastic coaching on the side of Team Gale, and Rob managed to fight his way to a hard-earned victory to earn the 3-0 sweep for Team Gale over Team Spirit. With this dominating win and the 2-0 or 2-0 record, should Gale be considered an absolute favorite to take down Season 2? Mortsy.
Uh, I don't know. I'm not super sure. Hold on a second. I think I missed where we were. What am I doing? Okay, so I've already talked about this a little bit. Gale is super, super deep. We haven't really gotten this kind of look into Gale's communications yet. But it kind of just reaffirms that them as a team, obviously they're strong individual players. But now you can see that they're obviously clearly cohesive. They're communicating super well. They're supporting each other. NuckleDo is a fantastic eye for the game, and Rob TV as well. Obviously Shine as well, but I think he's just Shine a little quieter, I guess. But they're all very, very strong players. They all have deep characters. Shine probably the least so, but still good. And then obviously it's Do. So they're looking incredible. I'm looking forward to seeing. Well, I guess this is the team that I expected to be the ones to stomp people, but that didn't happen. It was a quick throw. The fact that Rob TV, I was very impressed with Rob TV. You could even see if you put a big block on the screen in kind of the area from Dalsum to the end of his medium punch range, there was not like a single button pressed by Rob the entire time that he was in that range. If he wasn't pressuring, obviously. And even then, I think he just threw him twice. He swept and then threw him twice when he had V-trigger. So he only really took the opportunities when he was in an advantageous position. Every other point, he was either blocking or dashing. And I thought that is exactly how you play that matchup. And so it's more experience and more positives for Gale, man. I think they've already taken down two of the favorite teams. They actually had a rough-ass schedule, though. I mean, obviously everyone plays everyone, but like right off the bat, you have to play the two other teams who are being considered to take the whole thing. Like, that's rough. I think Frost might end up is probably going to be the next biggest challenge. Frost and the Storm. Obviously, Psycho is going to probably surprise people, but they're probably being considered as like, I'm worried about the other teams. You know, it's not like, oh, it's Psycho bad, like whatever. I'm a little more concerned about these other people. You're not disregarding them. It's like there are better people to worry about. So Gale's looking great, dude. Starting two wins off of these is so important. And will be interesting, obviously, is the band dynamic next time, because you can see what's gonna for this entire season, actually, for everything. It's gonna be who chooses to ban what and on which matchup, and what does the other team choose? Because so in this instance, G was banned. Sorry, who did they ban? Cammy?
Laura.
Right, Laura and G. So G and Laura. So next time, obviously, we're going to see the Laura, and we're going to see and we're going to see G next time. We're not going to see the Ibuki, and we're not going to see the poison. We're not going to see the actually, you know what? I don't know what character we might not see next time.
They might go for art.
I don't think we'll see Dalsum. I think guaranteed, because G mercs Sim. Because everything is like within reach of a smash over. So
Banji.
So that is going to matter a lot, because if today one team chooses to ban a weaker player while the other team chooses to ban a strong one, that means the next time around it's going to be flipped, which is very important for the power die, for the strength. So even if a team loses now, that generally means they're going to have a guaranteed ban. So this is actually something we should be very wary of for the rest of the first half, because everything's going to be flipped. If both, like, it's obviously it doesn't matter as much if both teams ban strong or weak, but if you have a flip, if you have it lopsided, it's going to be very interesting season. So this is actually a really nice, I really like this dynamic. I just kind of just thought about it. So this is actually going to be really, really interesting to see. So we're going to be able to point out a few of these matchups for the second half.
SplicedHelix, just a couple of thoughts here on Team Gale. Are they the dominating team, and are they as fearful as they look? They were depicted really well in this particular episode.
I think it's a little bit too early to be like, oh, well, they're going to win it all. That's it. We're done. They look really good. You know, top 3 easy. Top 2 maybe. I don't think honestly there's a clear cut anybody. Yeah, that team's going to win. Just simply because of how it's laid out. So you know you're gonna be fighting at full strength one week, and then next week you're not. So it really comes down to strategy. You know, you got your roll of the dice, you got your order, and you've got your who's banned on your team and who's banned on their team. It's not completely up in the air, but as far as strength goes, but there's more factors than just how good the team is. But yeah, they're really good. They're real. I could put them easy in the top 3. Easy.
All right, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out for Team Gale. So far, so good. At 2-0, the last match of the week sees a seemingly cursed Team Psycho, who were dominated by Team Spirit in week 2, taking on Team Frost, hot off the heels of, yes, a Samurai OCV. Could Psycho end the losing streak dating back to last season? Remember, their only win last season was week 1. Or are they just the next victim of Samurai and Team Frost? Here are your highlights.
They're like the Browns, man.
Now you're playing his pace. They said this, and now it's starting to work out. Sherry J.
What a buffer. Yo, you trying to dash upon me? Now you see Dangadillas getting impatient. Sherry Jennings throwing out the normals, fighting the disc guidance right after.
Oh, the whiff punish with the EX tackle. Got caught swinging.
Anti-air. You know what? Take that tweet down.
Yeah, 801 try to hold that. That's an anti-air. I know what those look like.
Cool.
Okay.
Got him. Open him up.
Seismo, he backdashes out of it. I love Decadenz's awareness to get away from Seismo.
The cross counter into the critical art. He's gonna take him to the corner. Not gonna really get an Oki situation because she wasn't in enhanced version, right? That would have been a lot better if she were in V-Trigger to do so. There's a big difference when it comes to the critical art finishers.
The jump back from Sherry in the instant overhead. Yo, Sherry Jennings.
Just like that. Rinse, repeat. You know he doesn't have the experience to play that slow. Okay?
So Dangadillas walked backwards, saw Sherry commit to the tech.
Yeah. Gonna get the corner.
Big headbutt whiff punish on the roundhouse. Nice work from Dangadillas.
I like the headbutts. The chase goes for the violent knee drop.
Swing and a miss on the V-skill. V-skill charge up for Urian. Ooh, cross spears, anti-air. Do not jump it. I'm in a suit. You jumping me? I earned this suit.
Okay.
Oh, still followed through with it. Okay.
Yeah,
big punish. Okay, not as big as I thought. I thought it was going to be critical art. I thought it was going to be critical art. My mistake.
You would have spent it?
I know what that was, Steve. That was actually a critical art to go through the fireball.
Ah.
That's what that was. Oh, the overhead incoming. That's going to be it. Dangadillas. Boom.
Dash up. Oh, standing fierce. Tried to get the V skill, and you can tell he's not too versed with this G, right? He's dropping a few combos, not going for any charges whatsoever.
I feel like he is. It's just, man, he hasn't woken up yet. I've seen Kevin play G, and I'm very impressed with it. He's learned a lot from this character, but I don't know, I just feel like something's a little off.
Well, maybe it's just the fact that he's playing, somebody like Smug. Smug plays the character as well. Maybe just getting to those sparks, those little crevices to let him know that, like, look, I know this matchup.
You're absolutely right. I think it's just the knowledge of the matchup itself.
Back
is
throw.
what's really deterring Dual Kevin from playing full potential. Here comes Smug off that activation. Okay, yeah, for the drop and the Oki setup. I like that. I like him jumping away instead of suffering the command grab, because that can kill. That's plus. Actually, it's not. It was the V-trigger version. You're right. Nap time.
What's up, dog? That's what I'm talking about.
You see, I've noticed something.
What you got, man?
Let me tell y'all something.
I'm listening.
See what happens when there's no Rashid?
Damn.
That was a wiggity wash. You understand that? I took him to the car wash. Full detail.
Oh, snap the pre.
Final round.
I love the fact that he's running like the classic Sagat.
It's so interesting seeing it in this light, right? This graphic design. Oop, or character design, I should say. Oh, and he just so happened to get it. He just so happened to read it. I think he was using it more so as a tool to get in, rather than for the fireball.
Ah, okay.
But either way, it could have been a solid read. He's like, I think he's gonna throw a fireball.
Jab this time around. Automatic fighting hard to get away from this corner though. Whoa.
There it is. Yeah, the back fierce to stuff the medium kick. Automatic knows about it.
Finally with the check into the EX fireball. Gets the knockdown, and Samurai's gonna hold this corner a little longer. See, that's what I want to see him use. Oh, he switched triggers. I did not see that.
Yeah, he's been using the V-trigger too in this entire set so far.
Oh, not the char. Okay, I'm tripping.
Yeah. Oh. Last time we saw him play with Sagat, he was using trigger
And that's why I was saying you want to use it right there, because that up close range, if he's still blocking those fireballs, you can at least close the distance. If you get a counter hit, you get a combo conversion. Even if you get a clean hit, you just chill. You close the gap, make him deal with the up close game. But Samurai, really close to closing out. I thought that was going to be overhead.
Oh, he's fishing. That's stand fierce not only to deter Samurai from pressing buttons, but if that hits, he gets the buffer into critical art, but that's not the case. Samurai.
Round 2.
Samurai looking at match point right now. Trying to repeat the OCV. He's in the position to do so. He's got to shoot the J.
Shoot it.
Red fireball incoming. Big punish. Sit him down. Corner carry and the damage. No conversion off the 2 straight hits, but either way.
Dude, Samurai just seems like he snowballs so quick in some of these situations. Goes for the low this time, not to throw.
Ooh. Taking a little 2-step of his own. Samurai getting the perfect. Is just yelling at Rip. I don't understand it. I don't know, man. He's trying to say the curse isn't real, I believe. I think that's what's going on.
I think that's what he's trying to say.
No conversion off the stray hit earlier there from Samurai. Got the crowd strong, but Smug now in the reverse position. He's trying to make sure that he's not cornered. He's trying to do the bullying himself, the Raging Bull. Dashing up in his face a little bit. Samurai now buffering those normals, but now he's taking that walk back, low forward fireball catches.
Oh, dash up roundhouse coming from Smug. Life in favor of Samurai at this point. Yeah, they changed the what's it? Close medium kick in the red fireball. No gap anymore, so in the corner it's a little better.
It's off of the sand medium kick too. Yeah, exactly.
Samurai has the lead right now, but Smug has turned it on. He's in full offense mode.
Oh, yeah, and he still has V-trigger?
Oh, that is a done deal. Samurai might not be. Wait.
No, not yet. Yo, is he gonna stop the curse? No, I spoke too soon.
Oh, I went straight to CA.
Oh, sit him down. Oh, that's not enough. That could have been it if you caught him on the landing frames.
Oh, wow. Oh,
no,
you
way.
thought it was over, Dual Kevin hopped up.
No way.
You thought
Automatic
it
was laughing. Smug laughed as well. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, Rip put down the microphone. What are you doing?
You thought it was over? It was never. Oh, and the catch. Smug is breaking the curse right now. Oh, he let him free.
Let me get another match, though. The Demon Palm, he was ducking. Forward throw, look at the stun bar.
Don't you ever duck.
The low this time, he tried to swing EXCP.
It is minus, so he's an EXCP. He took his turn back, and the stun. We're going to see another game, Steve.
I mean, I said that. I always got to make sure to acknowledge Rip when we get the final round.
It's trademarked, dude. Just frames afterwards, no longer allowed to press the button after the EX. Dash punch is blocked, but Smug trying to force Samurai into this corner.
I like that range he's playing at, looking for dash punches. That's why I feel like Samurai's comfortable playing back.
Oh, that's unfortunate. The low forward did clip, but it was a little bit too far out on that pushback to get the medium Tatsu.
Thought it was going to be a throw. Finds an opening. Wake up, EXDP. Samurai says, nah, man. I haven't given up yet. Goes for the low this time around. Walk up throw from Smug. B-skill to get back in there. Finishes that string with a crouching fierce. Tries to go for a big crush maybe again. Gonna get the
damage, the knockdown, the ambiguity off the demon flip. Throw again for Samurai. It can still go either way. Smug is looking at almost full bar on both ends.
50 seconds just about left on the clock. Look at all the gray live. He was going for throw. Nice air to air. Smug.
Oh, he got him with the punish, but it's not enough. It's not over yet.
Oh,
it is now. Samurai
Cash that ticket.
OCV.
Cash that ticket. Another OCV.
All right. So last season, we saw Dual Kevin's analytics play a factor for Up to Stuff and Nephew on Team Frost. This season, we're seeing both Dual Kevin and Samurai play the same role for SherryGenix. Despite losing to Dank Diaz in the first game of this set, the advice from both Samurai and Dual Kevin are improving Sherry's game week to week. Dank Diaz was the target for the ban this week as Frost opted to take away his doll sim. He fired back with a more than game Urian, and despite playing into the Frost game plan, managed to edge out a win over Sherry. What was more impressive to you and why? Team Frost's calculated game planning or Dank Diaz sticking to playing his way to stop the game plan altogether? SplicedHelix.
Samurai. It's, you know, you can talk and analyze all you want about everybody else on this team, but it's Samurai. This guy is seemingly unstoppable. I mean, he's going to be stoppable for half of the season, but until that point, what do? If you've got one guy on a team that can just mop the floor with the entire other team, regardless of how the first two people on the team do. It's, you know, I think the coaching for Sherry helped a lot. I think it you know, opened her eyes to some of the options she might not have seen before, and it worked well. But Samurai.
Mortsy, anything to say about Dank Diaz or Samurai and Dual Kevin's coaching of SherryGenix?
One, I think that I didn't even think about the Urian, for one. So that's just a deeper... The pocket just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. It's actually kind of wild how much depth that these two characters bring, or these two players bring to their roster. And what's really nice, obviously, Smug and Dank overlap one character. And that's it, which is, I think, probably the crazier part. Among the three players, despite Automatic playing half the roster, none of them overlap outside of G. But frankly, everyone has a G. So it's kind of wild. It's awesome, though. It's really good. It means that they can pick and choose the matchups they want. I'm interested. Obviously, Dank and Sherry have played before, obviously. And so it was interesting for him to go for the Urian instead of any of his other characters. The fact that he didn't pick G, despite it not being banned, right? It was Rashid and it was Dalsum, obviously. Despite it not being banned, just like giving Smug the option to play G, and that's actually kind of also another interesting fact that Smug isn't playing G. Smug decided to stick with Balrog, despite it not being banned. So maybe he's just going to hold out on Balrog for the entire time because he knows half the season I'm playing Balrog. Might as well play for the other half. Anyways, I think it's a completely different game when you have your friend or when you have the support and knowledge behind you. We saw it with Shine and having NuckleDu and Rob TV, and now we're seeing Sherry. Obviously, she's still a very, very strong. She's a good player, and her reactions are disgusting. I'm imagining that's even Vicious pointed out that the DP was in fact a super. She's on those, dude. She's just quick, very, very, very quick. So I'm genuinely surprised that she actually maybe was nerves or something. I don't know, but obviously she's also a very seasoned player as well. So it's kind of a surprise that she dropped that. But shit happens. She had the read. She was ready to make it. So she's probably just gonna be able to build on that, anyways. And having Dual Kevin and Samurai as her backup is also just kind of like you can play when you have Samurai as your anchor. You can kind of be like, do these games really matter? Does it matter if I win? It's just one more person for Samurai to play, right? So what's going to happen is that when either Dual Kevin or Sherry beat someone, they're going to lose because then he won't be able to reverse sweep.
He can only win 3 games.
Yeah, exactly. He can't win if it's only 2 people. He has to beat all 3. Otherwise, Frost isn't allowed to win.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point you brought up with Sherry's reactions or just her ability to make reads are absolutely out of this world. I think where the struggle comes in is just sometimes the execution isn't there, and that's literally it. And that's definitely something that's going to be practiced, and she's going to get so much better as the rest of this tournament progresses, I'm sure, no doubt, but because of having those 2 behind her. We'll see where it goes from there. Second match of the set had Smug bring out the Balrog, as we talked about earlier, against Dual Kevin's G in a captain's match that looked more like a captain versus a crowd favorite. Smug showed his knowledge of the character in the matchup against Dual Kevin, who looked rusty in his gameplay with the President of the Earth. The end result was 2-0 in favor of the Mayor of Duff City. Was this just a case of bad luck in terms of player order? Being targeted for the ban twice over the last 2 weeks? Or does Dual Kevin have something to figure out? Mortsy.
I'm very interested to know what the map is there. Obviously. Smug is going to know the matchup, or he's at least going to know the facets that Balrog has, or the things that Balrog can do to combat the matchup due to obviously also playing G. He knows the habits. It did look rusty. There were some drops. There were some opportunities that were missed. Doing jab into heavy kick when the jabs hit to activate in the V trigger is kind of sus. Instead of just confirming, that screams Rashid to me, frankly. Jab into heavy kick activate. But obviously it's also G, so maybe I'm just reaching there. But it did seem a little wonky. But once again, do the games really matter? It's silly because it feels like the Sherry and Dual Kevin can mess around, and they're like, there's a video. I mean, there's a video game about it, but it's like 2 toddlers kind of running around doing whatever and having a ball, and then Samurai's there with them, just like preventing them from falling in a lake or like, you know what I mean? He's just he's leading them down a bridge, and they keep trying to like kill themselves and fall off the bridge, and he's just like, no, get back here, or like they fall and he grabs them, like that's kind of what it feels like, and they can just wander around, and they're completely ignorant to the dangers that they're facing, and it's just like, and Samurai is just weathering all the pain. It's like the meme with the army soldier blocking all the arrows and the fire and stuff like that. It's Samurai OCVing, and then Sherry and Dual Kevin are in the bed. And like, yeah, you get what I mean. For the meme's sake, okay? I didn't. Well,
I mean, the best meme that we saw. I wanted to bring it up on stream and I missed it. I brought it up in our group chat. They were 0-2 and The Rock is just like, who's up next? And it's like Samurai, and he has this bewildered look on his face, like, oh my god, it's Samurai. I think it's kind of amazing, this sort of story that is unfolding for Mikey just based on being in Street Fighter League over the last season and a bit now. SplicedHelix, talk to me about Dual Kevin. Did it look bad? Did it look rusty? Does he actually still have a G?
I think it looked a little bit rusty, but that might have just been all it was he hadn't played G in a while. And that's not really fair going up against Smug, because of course Smug's going to know what works against G with Balrog and with Balrog against G. You know, those are his two characters. If nothing else, that's just the worst thing you can get out of a matchup. Somebody who knows how to attack the matchup and defend against the matchup with both of those characters. So it's just an unlucky draw. You okay there, Mortsy?
My ear just lost sound, so I was a little confused.
Okay, I thought I lost sound. I was like, oh shoot.
No.
But yeah, no, I think he may have looked a little bit rusty, but not enough to where that would have made a difference, because Smug knowing both of those characters inside and out, you know, just kind of made it a bad matchup as far as Street Fighter League wise.
And then, of course, we saw Smug's reaction after beating G on the part of Dual Kevin. The wiggity wash in the car wash, the premium. I like that the commentators went into it. I wish I let the clip play a little bit longer, but the commentators went into it, and I think Tasty Steve broke a monitor laughing, which was kind of funny there. Let's delve into, obviously, the hot topic of, well, at least with regards to this matchup, Samurai's return to SFL Season 2 has been nothing short of dominating. Like Season 1, he has proven to be a key component to his team's record. Last week, it was an OCV of Team Storm. This week, Samurai continues his strong play, defense, clutch, and a solid game plan against all three of his opponents this week. With a new ban system in place for Season 2, Samurai is expected to have Akuma for at least 3 more weeks. Do you choose, should you be an opposing team, to stop his momentum now and ban Akuma? Or do you ride it out and keep dodging Dual Kevin's Rashid? SplicedHelix.
It doesn't matter. You've got to fight it at some point eventually anyway. Last verse, same as the first. It's gonna happen. You know, in at least half of your matches, you're gonna get the OC. He's gonna be there. You know, he's gonna bring the Akuma 1 out of your 2 matches if you ban it. Otherwise, you know, you pick somebody else and you got to deal with him anyway. So it's smart to do it when you can, you know, and teams are going to do it at least once. Just the dude is sweeping teams by himself. So they're going to do it at least once if they're smart. If they take, you know, all the crap talk and let that goad you into doing something silly, punk, then, you know, sure, you don't ban him and then you lose because he sweeps your whole team. Or somebody beats somebody on your team and then you don't have to worry about it because he doesn't win unless it's all 3.
Mortsy, do you believe in stopping Samurai's momentum sooner rather than later to affect Team Frost's record moving forward in the season?
I was under the impression that it would have been a good idea, but when SplicedHelix says it doesn't matter, it's actually a really good point. It doesn't. He's gonna play 5 games of Akuma. He's gonna play 5 games of God knows what, right? And it doesn't necessarily matter what the order is for those, because the momentum's gonna end eventually. It's just when it does during the season. Obviously, this is the kind of the point of. So I actually like Frost ban strategy, I guess, in this one. Who did they ban the first season? Or first episode, sorry. Looking real quick. They banned G against Storm. Yeah, okay. So alright, that's not a consistent strategy, but it's an existing strategy. Where they know that they have 5 games with Kuma. right? So you do weak bans for every time you get Akuma, which means that the next time when you probably don't have Akuma, you're playing also the opposing team also doesn't have their strongest player. So in this case, and obviously it's kind of weird because I think Psycho's a bit of a weird case where I guess Sim, yeah, but what against they banned G, so it could have been cool if this had been their grand strategy where they ban like Urian or something, or they let him have G while and then trust Samurai to OCV regardless, which would be really interesting because that would mean that the next week when they play Storm again, they don't have Akuma, but Storm also doesn't have G. So they're playing like a weakened version of the team when they know they're going to be weaker. I guess that strategy might not come into fruition because obviously they banned Strider instead this time around, trying to get the win when they could for sure. Because obviously G is kind of volatile, and that's not a bet you really want to take. So it makes sense. But now this second time around, I could see them doing it more. That's my rationale for them if they have any other like kind of weaker bans for the first half. Because they are assuming everyone is going to ban Akuma. It'd be nice if they get the opportunity to ban second every time, so they can be like, I'll ban. They change their ban based on whether or not Akuma is banned. I could see teams pick it up this time around, but again, they're not thinking about it in terms of like, oh, Samurai's played Akuma twice already. They're thinking about their two matches. That's all they should be thinking about. They shouldn't be thinking about what he's done with other teams. They should be thinking about what do we do to beat it? What sets us up the best? I don't know if they write down the bans beforehand and then they do the presentation. Like blind bans. I wonder whether or not it's blind bans or if it's like one bans first and then the other person bans second, and they're set blind.
Something in the rules said something about filling out a form. So
they can't necessarily. They can't really bet on that.
Yeah,
so that's too bad.
I mean, we know that the player orders are blind, blind picked. So I assume that everything is blind picked. A quick question to close out this topic. Mortsy, you brought it up earlier that the ban on the side of Frost was Dalsim.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that banning Dalsim played any kind of role in the Akuma OCV for Samurai?
I don't know. I think it actually maybe because Samurai's style is much slower, and I think Dalsim does it better. If he's not gonna play that rushdown, obviously Akuma can play the rush, and Samurai's also like I think that was the most pressure I've ever seen Samurai under. Outside of the few times that he did lose, obviously Storm lost, because that was like the most EXTPs, mind you, they all hit, but just Smug putting on that pressure was really, really good. So I don't know if I don't think it would have really super helped because obviously EX Demon Flip is just so good at getting in on Sim. But again, Dank has a lot of that experience. So maybe they really wanted this win, so they banned it out knowing that the XP was there. But this next time, Dalsim's on the table, and probably, what do you think? I actually don't know whether they'll opt to ban G or Balrog, because he's not even playing G. It's just like it's a useless ban right now as we're seeing, which is really interesting because there aren't any matchups outside of the Kami, which they can just ban away that are bad for Smug. I don't think.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of waiting for when the next team that plays against Psycho actually drops the ban hammer on Balrog, and I want to see Smug absolutely play people with G. So
yeah,
that's gonna be one of those things that will be interesting to keep an eye on. Any last thoughts on Samurai SplicedHelix?
I mean, a samurai. The guy,
True.
you know, it's what else? What else do you have to say there? It's continuation of season 1. It's just the same thing all over again.
Stayed informed.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll see how the rest of the league plays out. That's the end of week 3. Of course, week 4 action begins tomorrow, but we do have one more topic outside of the gameplay and outside of the Street Fighter League spectrum, at least the Street Fighter League Pro US spectrum, to talk about. This was a hot button topic that actually came up a few days ago, so we added it to the show for our mega episode today. The hot button topic regarding Street Fighter League Pro US versus Street Fighter League Pro Japan. In case you missed it, here's the summary. On September 14th, the competitors for Street Fighter League Pro Japan were announced. The Street Fighter League World Finals, quote-unquote, between the winning teams of SFL Pro US and SFL Pro Japan will compete at Capcom Cup this December, of course, with the winning team taking home $90,000 in USD prize money. However, the format in which teams are selected in the US and in Japan are drastically different with regards to pro licensing, etc. As a result, the Japanese teams, on paper, are stronger in terms of experience, global CPT standings, etc. Sponsorships even. Capcom released a statement referring to this process of the Street Fighter League as still being refined. Quote, "For the first year of Street Fighter League, we've evolved the team composition, format, and rules across both territories. Season 1 of the SFL Pro Japan is very different than Season 2. SFL Pro US has been a little more consistent between Season 1 and Season 2, but it has also experienced some changes. It is our intention to refine Street Fighter League over the next few cycles until we achieve the best possible version of the series. In terms of the skill level disparity between the leagues, we are aware of this concern and are considering format changes to put the teams at better parity for the Global Championship at Capcom Cup." One of the most outspoken people with regards to this, Wednesday Night Fights organizer Alex Valle, tweeted a statement as well that called on U.S. players to, quote, "step up," and referred to this generation's mindset as, quote, "sad." This was met with a lot of scrutiny among North American Street Fighter players, commentators, analysts, as well as former and current Street Fighter League Pro US competitors. What are your thoughts on the disparity between SFL Pro Japan and SFL Pro US? And should they actually be playing for money before this system is refined? SplicedHelix.
I think Valle had a good point, and at the same time, not a very fair. As far as the mentality goes, of step up to the plate. We've got a challenge in front of you. Take it. Don't shy away from it. I understand that. I agree with that. But at the same time, your mindset isn't always going to be the only thing that's holding you back. The U.S. Street Fighter League was put together for the U.S. audience. We're big into reality stars, like the president, and reality TV is a big thing over here. So the entertainment value holds more weight here, as far as like personality and as far as diversity and stuff like that goes, as opposed to Japan, where they're focused on results. They're focused on who are the best players of this game we can get for this show. So just automatically out of the gate, you've got that much of a gap between the overall skill levels of the teams here and the overall skill levels of the teams there. Not to say that the Street Fighter players here are bad by any means, but the criteria for people being on these teams is drastically different because they're not looking for the same production value there that they are here. So yeah, like you said, on paper, they've got more CPT points. They've got more CPT points for a reason, because the players place higher. So on paper, they're automatically better. On paper, they've got an advantage. On paper, they're looking like the favorites to win. And on paper, it doesn't look very fair. But, Valle, I see his point where he's saying step up. This is a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. No matter who wins out of the Street Fighter or the US Street Fighter League, no matter who wins, it's going to be a challenge. You're going to have to put your best game forward and hope that it's enough. And, Japan's going to be Japan. Look at the number of North America / US players that have been in Evo Top 8 compared to how many Japan players have been in Evo Top 8. So flip it around, look at Capcom Cup. The results are pretty much the same. It's not exactly fair, but it's not exactly too overbalanced unfair. I think on paper and points-wise, yes, they're the favorites to win. That's just how it is. So you either step up to the plate and you accept that challenge and you beat them anyway, or you don't. And, if it was meant to be, it was meant to be.
With regards to the prize pool for this, do you think there would be such an uproar if there wasn't $135,000 on the line coming back the other way? And your thoughts on the entire thing as well, Mortsy?
So that you bring up, that is obviously a very, very good point. Valle would be in the right here if both teams, if the Americans were complaining about having to play the Japanese players, and the leagues were created equally, then Valle would be totally in the right here and be like, bitch, stop complaining. Like, you're going to have to fight these people. That's how it goes. But if that was the case, there wouldn't be any complaining because the Americans, because obviously we have teams, we have players that are strong enough to beat them. Mind you, holy shit teams, dude. These Japanese teams, isn't it one of them like Takedo Gachikun?
Yes.
Yeah, let me actually bring up the teams right now. Go ahead and continue discussing your point. I will bring up the teams on screen, the Japanese ones.
Crazy.
It's hilarious. I'm very excited. That's my team, obviously, because Haku is unbelievable. And finally Fang. But so basically what this league is, and this is my favorite analogy that I just thought of, is America and Japan. America and Japan are doing the 100-meter dash, except in America's lane, there's hurdles. That is what we're doing. And then Valle's like, why are you complaining? Obviously, why are you complaining when it's just hurdles? You're going to have to race them anyway. So, and the fact that, from my understanding, if I can recall, will there be a point distribution? If you win Street Fighter League America, do you get not points? Sorry, do you get money for winning the American one?
Yes.
Or is all the money based around winning against Japan?
I believe Daigo's team is pretty beastly too.
I believe there is a prize pool for the actual
scroll down
US.
Because where's the World Champion stuff?
Yeah, it's all listed on the site as far as I know.
That's annoying.
Okay.
Daigo's technically right. Obviously, if you're complaining about, you're gonna have to fight them anyways. But if you had instead, like, if we think about the dream teams that we could have here in NA. And then, like, those would be great to watch in the 3v3, but that isn't the case. You're racing against. Can't make that joke with. You're racing against one. Like, Japan is a full able-bodied runner, and then America just has a leg cut off, and it's just not an equal race. And when it's for that sum of money, it's so just transparently dumb. You can't have this sum of money. If it was for fun, who gives you? If it wasn't for entertainment, that's great. Y'all have fun. I'll be watching in the stands. It's gonna be fun. But when you have, like, even the best foot forward for Street Fighter League America, US, isn't the best foot forward for the US could put forward.
Yeah. If you had Punk, NuckleDu, and IDOM on the team, then, there you go.
And on top of that, does the Street Fighter League in Japan have ban?
They do. So
I don't think they had bans last season.
Last season they did not.
I
This
can't hear
time they
Toga
do.
anymore.
Yeah, Toga, you're gone again.
Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me now?
No.
Jesus Christ.
What do you keep changing? So SplicedHelix and I are gonna have a nice conversation, okay? So it's just obviously you don't want to complain because you are gonna want to. If I was in the position, obviously, if anyone else was in the position, you go, sure, it's gonna be hard, but this is kind of what we're competing for. We're going to tournaments with these people anyways, and we're trying to beat them. This is no different, but we would still want to be able to put our best foot forward as a team instead of being constrained by arbitrary rules for entertainment. And when it comes to a competition between nations and one of the nations is running around in a clown costume, it's not fair. And then, like, it just seems super silly. You're running around in shackles against a team, against one of the strongest nation in the world at video games in Street Fighter. And you're fighting them with shackles. Your hands are...
I mean...
You're not Cody.
They've got an Evo champ and a Capcom Cup champ on the same team.
I know, it's...
All right, I don't know if you guys can hear me now.
No, Taquito hasn't won Evo. Wait, when did Taquito win Evo?
20.
He beat Punk.
5.
He beat Punk.
He beat Punk. 2016.
Oh yeah, he did. No,
Yeah,
okay. For some reason, I thought Punk had won. I don't know why. No, it was the other way around. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is even more fucked up. And then you have I'm not leaving Haku to the side here. Then you have an incredibly terrifying character specialist who you can't ban away, and no one plays the character to the extent that they do. This is the guy who's already OCV'd a team of Fujimura, Machibo, and Johnny.
Yeah.
He did that by himself. That's the reason why he's in the league, is because he OCV'd that team.
You know, if you're gonna do nation versus nation thing, you know, this is the wrong format, I think, to do it in. Just simply because of the discrepancy of the format of the show in the two countries. If you're gonna have an all-star game, you get your all-stars.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
That's actually.
You don't get, all-star 1, and then this guy who did okay in that regional game versus
and Donald Trump.
And I don't even know if that guy doesn't deserve to be anything.
And a reality star content. Yeah.
You don't get Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and Tommy Wiseau, to do an all-star movie. I did not hit her. I did not. It doesn't go.
You gotta click the button.
Sorry, it's not the same thing.
No.
So
it's apples to oranges.
It's apples to freaking screwdrivers.
Well.
Yeah.
It's just you. And for this amount of money, I don't think it's acceptable. I'm very interested in, because obviously the players that are in it are going to feel cheated if they win SFL US, and you're going to go fight a team consisting of Taquito, Gach, and Haku, and you have.
It's like the US Street Fighter League is the sub boss. Then you have to go into the boss room.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And then on top of that, the sub boss isn't that the one? I guess it's the main boss, but never mind. The analogy doesn't work. So I'm very interested to see what changes if they say they're saying their teams they're gonna try to change the format so that there's a better it evens out the strength a little bit. Maybe USA is going to get to ban a character on Team Japan, and then they can't, and they don't get to ban anyone.
If it still be dumb bragging rights. If it was just for bragging rights, it'd be
even then it would be dumb because it's not even like a fair fight. Yeah. Am I going to brag if my Rottweiler chews up a Chihuahua?
But then there's that off chance that the Chihuahua
Terrible example.
somehow wins.
Yeah, no, but that's
What?
a
What
good
happens
analogy
if
as
the
well.
Chihuahua somehow wins?
Then it's super. This is okay. It's like comeback. I don't know. It's like a Rocky Balboa maybe kind of thing. Except, yeah, it's maybe a decent example.
I must break
The
you.
Oakland A's of 2001. Was it 2001? I think. Anyway,
I have no idea. I don't follow baseball.
That's fine. It's Moneyball.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was 2001. That's right.
it's just no, it's nonsensical. They need to either create the leagues equally or don't have them compete against each other. It's silly, especially for the money, because it's just a stab in the. It's like, okay, Japan, we're gonna give you this $130,000, but first you have to play. You have to play with the little American kids. Okay, that's basically what it feels like. It's like,
it was 90,000.
It's just an extra requirement for the Japanese players to have to play in order to get the money.
Okay, so the total prize pool
And then
is-
the little U.S. kids are like chained to the wall, and there's a bat beside them.
Wait, it's 90,000 US. That's right.
Yeah, it's 90,000
Oh,
US
like
for the winner.
1.6 million.
Still can't hear you, Tilda.
Still can't hear
You're
me.
still-
Shit.
We can't hear you.
He's getting ready to throw his papers and walk off set.
Can you guys hear me now?
But honestly, so on that note, they can probably hear you. Honestly,
Yeah, the stream can hear me.
I have the stream closed, so
Okay.
I think we can probably end it there, frankly, because both of our sentiments are pretty similar. I think we're just echoing other people at this point as well.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Toga, if you want to clear us out.
All right. So that was our little shtick on
I agree. Yes.
On everything. Video footage from Street Fighter League Pro US is used with permission from Capcom. Follow the Capcom Pro Tour and Street Fighter League on Twitch at twitch.tv/CapcomFighters, on YouTube at youtube.com/CapcomFighters, and on Facebook Live, facebook.com/CapcomFighters. Sorry, youtube.com/CapcomFighters
Can you
and on
imagine if the
Facebook
stream
Live.
can't hear them? Can't hear them either.
Facebook Live at facebook.com/CapcomFighters. Due to scheduling issues, Beyond the Fist Season 2 Episode 3 will be airing earlier in the week. Follow our Twitter, or all of our Twitters rather, for more information on that. SFL Pro US airs tomorrow on Twitch and on YouTube at 4 p.m. Pacific. For the panel, Mortsy and SplicedHelix, I have been togashiazrael. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time on BTF. Take care, everybody. Bye.